Welcome to the North America Show. Host Rob Noerr. Forgot to put my energy into my drink here. And we need energy. Otherwise, we just have drink. The hell wants that? I'm your host, Rob Noerr. We're going to do a call-in show today. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. The impending destruction of our country. The fact that we have to choose between a party that hates us and another party that hates us but pretends to like us. Yeah, that's not good. Hey, we're doing good here, though, aren't we? Always a silver lining. From my perspective, as a streamer, the more shit the country is, the more I have shit to talk about, and the more people are willing to listen to nobodies like me, because the people that aren't nobodies are absolute dog shit. So, well, I guess we got that going. Right? We got that going for us. There it is. Tastes like shit. It's the key, though. Do people really like the taste of coffee, by the way? I'm not a big coffee drinker. Do people like it, or is the fact that it tastes like shit help wake you up? Is that part of it? Like black coffee. It's got caffeine and stuff, but it's like also it tastes like shit, which you're like, oh, okay, I'm up. I don't know. Having said that, coffee flavor mixed with things can be all right. But, yeah, see? Clip it. Prefers it black. You in New York City. Oh, man. Good day coming up here for me. It was pizza day for my son at school today. He's excited. So apparently, I was sleeping. Him and my wife had quite the little battle because he wasn't a big fan of the banana he was given, and so he tossed it down in a tantrum. My wife wasn't pleased. It's like, listen, if you don't like the banana, that's fine, but don't throw it in the ground. So they had a little, little spat there. I blissfully slept through it. So what do I know? Tonight, our good friend Spiro will be joining me. We're going to do a special trying to raise $1,000 will be the Super Chat goal tonight. 1,000. We're going to put it on night shift. Though listen, day shift, if you exceed the 357 mark, will really, really show night shift the pieces of garbage they are. The goal is we are trying to raise money because Spiro and I are going to DebateCon, and it's going to cost a considerable amount of money for tickets, for airline fee, for rental cars, for Airbnb, etc., etc., etc. Now, everybody that's going to DebateCon wants to see me, and maybe 30% of you want to see Spiro. So, we figured we'll try to have a little fun tonight. We'll be a little more grifty than usual, though I think there's going to be serious stuff to talk about, as you'll see when I start talking about the stories of today before the call-in. Something that Spiro and Manted have been focused on, sort of the inflated stock market because of how much money is being put into AI. And I'm going to address that somewhat, very tangentially here on the morning show. And so I think that maybe that's something we'll be addressing this evening. But we're also going to have a lot of fun. I'm sure Avarice will pop in, maybe EOD. Look. There's the spirit. Either way, we'll take your money. All right, Spiro's got financial stuff too to talk about. Yeah. Holy smokes. Look at this. Thanks, AJC. I'll get to the super chats in a second. Damn. Little heated. Last night's show got a little animated. Finally, someone's figured me out. Got a little Alex Jonesy last night. You know, what can you do? Here, let's play a little clip, then we'll get to super chats. We'll speed it up. That'll make it more fun, right? We'll go 1.25 speed. Now, I know this is a good clip. Well, not necessarily the clip. It's good. But it's a place to start because someone timestamped it. And by the way, if you watch these live streams and then you comment afterwards and you timestamp, my editor, Black Elk, that's very useful to him. So if you like, hey, this is a good 5-minute section to timestamp, here we go. You ready? You blame Trump for the failures of yesterday. He certainly has part of it. See, the truth is there's an awful lot of people, including young people. The new coalition that Trump got, younger people, Hispanics, they disappeared yesterday. Yes, a lot of that is because it's an off year, but they were also flipping. And it turns out they weren't voting for Trump to fucking bomb Russia or to send bombs to Ukraine or to send money to Israel or to bomb Venezuela. They didn't give a fuck about any of that. They were like, oh, inflation's through the fucking roof. We care about that. That's what we care about. We want the border secure and mass deportations. That's what we care about. The economy, being able to afford homes. And that's been on the back burner for the Trump administration. Big focus has been foreign policy. Proof's in the pudding. I asked people, what's this so far this term been about Trump? Foreign policy. There you go. That's the priority. People realize it. They see it. That's on Trump. It's on Trump because once more, he has not learned the lesson of his first term. When you surround yourself with neocon establishment conservatives like Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin, who fucking hated you and wanted to prevent you from ever coming into power in 2016, they're going to push for policies that the people you support fucking hate and that will prevent you from doing any of the things you wanted. And yet, repeatedly, Trump trusts the very people that hate him the most. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's what he does. Trump has people close to him that are absolute dog shit like Pam Bondi. How many fucking times will she make a complete fool of herself and this entire administration? What's she going to do? John Solomon was ripping on her today. John Solomon, of all people. Because she came out yesterday and was like, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe what we just found. Jack Smith subpoenaed Trump's phone in the Arctic Frost investigation. Yes, we knew that in April. Congratulations, Pam Bondi. The fucking attorney general finding evidence out a full 6 months after the average member of the public knew. Great job. But can you be surprised? This was the woman who thought that the Epstein files she released that we had all seen years prior was actually breaking news. She's always the last fucking person to know anything, and she's the person we're putting hopes on to get to the bottom of the fucking coup against Trump that occurred since 2016, and she knows less than the average fucking Trump supporter. It does not matter how many times she falls on her face and fails. For some reason, Trump won't do shit. And that is on Trump. Just like Bill Barr was on Trump. That's on him. And if Trump's too dumb to realize, they're going to bury his fucking ass once he's out of power. That's also on him. I feel bad about it. I think Trump's a great man. That's what's going to happen. They ain't going to stop with Trump. They're going to come for his family. They're going to come for his lawyers. They're going to come for his friends. They're going to come for his cabinet. They're going to come for his donors. They're going to come for his supporters. And Trump's too fucking stupid. The person he has as the biggest shield against it is a fucking idiot, Pam Bondi. Who do you put that on? When she makes an ass of herself over the Epstein thing, what happens? Trump doubles down and makes a bigger ass of himself. If you believe this, you're believing a Democratic hoax. Fuck you. It's a joke. When you're not viewing Americans first, when you're concerned more about other bullshit and you're appointing people around you that are terrible, the American people are going to notice. Now let me defend Trump some. He's facing unprecedented levels of pushback. Courts, the country over, every little thing he tries to do by executive order are stymie him in laughable ways. If you're him, who could you trust? The way so many people have stabbed him in the back. If there's one person that you could say is actually doing good for the Republican Party as far as winning elections and driving up turnout, it's Trump. So it's hard to put too much blame on him. And most importantly, for all of Trump's failures, and many of them are his fault, including the people he puts around him, the biggest impediment to his success is, what is it? What's the overrated? It's not. What's up, Sean? Ding, ding, ding. That's the fucking problem. That's the problem. It's the Republicans. What the fuck is Congress doing? You see, the reason that the courts could stymie everything Trump's doing is because he has to do everything by executive order. Everything. Because Congress and the Republicans in the House and Senate are worse than worthless. They are actually a detriment. They would be better to say nothing and never go to D.C. That's how fucking bad they are. They are horrible. Now, I'll blame Trump and bitch about him till I'm blue in the face. I did stream after stream about the Epstein shit and how bad it was for Trump. I did stream after stream talking about, like, the focus on Israel with these student visa deportations was bullshit. About how I didn't like how he's sending money to Israel and shit. Did streams after that. The Ukraine shit, how I was mad about. The bombing of Iran, how I was mad about. Shitty people that he's appointed like Pam Bondi. The buck stops with him. But my goodness, these Republicans fucking hate this man. Of course, Trump's too fucking stupid to realize how much they hate him, and he listens to the worst of them, like Lindsey Graham. But what the fuck are the Republicans in Congress doing? What do they ever do? In my entire adult life, what have they done? I remember when they ran for years on repealing and replacing Obamacare. Oh, if only we got power, we'd do it. Okay, then they got power. House, Senate, presidency during Trump's first year, in his first term. And what'd they do? Nothing. Shit the bed. The Republicans, when they finally get power, here's the truth. They're like, oh, fuck. Now, we're in position to do something, and reality is we don't want to do anything. Because we don't give a fuck about our constituents. We don't care at all. We don't give a fuck if young people can't afford houses. We don't give a shit that grocery prices are high. We don't give a fuck. We care about consolidating power with our Democrat buddies. We care about globalism. That's what we care about. Fuck our supporters. We don't care about them. We don't give a fuck. So, oh shit, now we're in power and we're like, well, we're going to fight real hard to pass a massive spending bill. It ain't really going to do shit that we promised. Ain't going to do shit we promised, but it'll spend a lot of money. I'm assuming our base will love that. But we have to spend a lot of money this time. And then trust us. Trust us out. Next time, we'll cut back on the budget while also doing the shit that we promised. What have they done? Nothing. Because it's not that they're incompetent. And let's be honest, I talk about this all the time with the Democrats. Was it that the Democrats were just incompetent and couldn't see that Joe Biden was a fucking human vegetable? No, they knew what was up. They're corrupt. Was it they were incompetent and they couldn't see the massive amount of people coming through the border in the Biden administration? No, it's because that's what they wanted, because they're corrupt. The same is true of the Republicans. I'm not going to sit here and listen, well, they're just stupid. They just don't know what they're doing. Fuck all that. Garbage in, garbage out. This is who they are. I'm not saying every single one, but as a unit, this is who they are. The truth is, the real power, the donor class that feeds the Republican Party, they can't wait for MAGA to end. They want it to go back to business as usual. They don't like populism, right wing or left wing. They want Trump to crash and burn. They want him to get through his term until 2026 when Democrats could take over in the House and maybe the Senate. And then there'll be an excuse. Well, we would have tried shit. We would have got shit done, but oh, those dastardly Democrats. Oh, boy. Okay, well, what'd you do for the past 2 years? Well, let me tell you, Republican constituent, here's what we did. We laid the table for if we won in 2026, then we're about to start doing shit. But we lost, so now we can't do anything. Sorry. I guess Trump will have to do it all himself via the executive branch. Oh, what's that? There's a bunch of stymieing at the court level? Oh, well. Oh, well. Tragically, nothing gets done. Now we can go back to being a minority party. Great. That's it. That's who the Republicans are. That's what their donor class wants them to be. You're not part of their constituency. They say you are, but they do not give a fuck. Wow. Last night, Rob really was crushing it and pissed, and rightfully so. I'll get to the super chats here in 1 second, I promise. I hope AJC doesn't leave. So we're going to talk more about the elections. I'm going to put some stuff up to kind of show what I think about all this shit. But in general, that's what I think. It gets worse. The news gets worse. You could say, well, maybe they'll turn it around. Here's how it works, though, and I didn't mention this last night. When does campaigning start for 2026? When? When do you think that people in Congress are going to start working on their campaigns for 2026? That's when. And here's the truth. The time you have to really get shit done, if you have the presidency, the House, and the Senate's the first year. Because now considerations are going to be from all of these Congress people. Well, I can't really focus on governing. I have to focus on campaigning. It's already too late. We've already missed the best opportunity to do anything. And with all the criticisms of Trump, which I'll levy until I'm blue in the face and have done many times, my focus is, what has Congress done with that year? What have they done? I challenge anyone. What have they done? Big beautiful bill sucked ass, okay? And anything else? Anything meaningful that you could think of. I can't. And I stream twice a day. Mike Ball, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure. Can anyone tell me anything? I don't know. Deporting 2% of illegals. How many people do you think they've deported, and how many people do you think are here? There's probably more than 30 million illegals here. And they didn't deport them. Trump did. Or at least his executive orders. Oh, no problem. All right. Super chat. GG. Thanks for the gifted membership as always. The absolute legendary AJC $10 says, did I hear someone say Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes? The Democrats are wishing death upon us, but all we can talk about is Tucker interviewing Nick Fuentes. Oh my gosh. Just messing. I had to. Yeah, I talked about that last night as well, too. I mean, I don't particularly care for Nick Fuentes. Let me tell you the little secret. You know, let's just cut to brass fucking tacks. Want to know why Nick Fuentes is gaining in popularity? Because the Republican leadership can't seem but to focus on Israel. When Mike Pence is saying there's no room in the conservative movement to not support Israel. When Ted Cruz is saying, we had to, it's in the Bible, I have to support Israel. I don't hate Israel as much as Nick Fuentes. I don't hate Israel as much as a lot of other people. But it's obvious that's where so much of the focus of our elected leadership is. And I know there's going to be people that I like that disagree with me. Tell me what Congress has done. Tell me what they've done. Where's been the American first policies that they've been pushing? They're out there saying a big game about Israel. The focus of Congress, and at least of the past 3 months of the Trump administration, has been almost exclusively foreign policy. Ukraine, Israel, Venezuela. Now we're talking about Nigeria. Situation in Nigeria, absolutely fucking tragic. I'm sorry. What are you doing back home? You want to know a tragic situation? We may be on the cusp. We may be on the cusp. This may be the crescendo of the point of no return. A coalition of young women and foreign-born people are going to ensure that left-wing socialist policies start to become the norm in this country. And once they do, it'll be too late. Who do you think the 40 million people on food stamps are going to vote for? The party that says that we need to shrink food stamps, or the party that says that we need to grow them? It's becoming too late. I asked my ANCAP friend Casimir many moons ago. I said, Casimir, what happens when 51% of the people in a country rely on the government for their income? In a democracy, how do you vote your way out of that? And the answer is, you don't. It's too late. And that's where we're quickly moving. And so, when we achieve nigh on impossible victories, such as 2016 and 2024, what do the people we put in positions to do something about this, who promised that they would tackle these issues, what do? Absolutely fucking nothing. They send money to Ukraine and Israel. That's what they do. No change in corrupt voting systems. No holding corrupt judges accountable. No holding corrupt Democrats accountable. No fucking policies to help people with more affordable housing. Talk about H-1Bs, how we need to massively import more foreign people. They're good at that. They're good at defending that policy. That they can defend. They're good at massively spending money. That they can do. They can do that. But not so good at, helping the American people. Didn't quite get around to that part of it. Okay? I was looking at numbers, and granted, you have to take polling with a grain of salt, but here's the deal. These aren't just polls from, pollsters that sucked ass that always hated Trump. These are people like Rich Barris and Rasmussen that are saying Trump has completely flipped all of the young people that supported him. He's down 50 points for the young people that supported him because they were desperate. We can't afford houses. We can't have good jobs. So okay, fuck you. Then we'll go the other direction. Mamdani, what do you got for us? He's going to have socialism. He's going to have mass importation of other people. He's going to have defund the police. Do we deserve any less? But hey, so far so good in my little community. I don't see those problems. And I'll keep streaming. And sure, when the stock market fucking collapses, which is the one thing Trump's pointing to, we're all fucked. Once that bubble bursts on AI, and we'll go back to, if not Great Depression levels, 2008 level recessions, and then Trump's really fucked. Then we about to see a blue wave in 2026 and 2028. Then you'll see, and they're going to play for fucking keeps this time. This is it. You see, they came at the king with Trump, and they missed. But you know what's even worse? Trump then said that I'm going to put my targets on the entire damn system of the empire. And he aimed, and he shot himself right in the fucking face. And now the empire's going to be like, oh boy, our turn. That's what's about to happen. And Trump's going to pay a price. And his family's going to pay a price. And his coalition, they're going to pay a big fucking price. And his supporters are going to pay a price. And they're going to laugh. They're going to fucking laugh at you. They're going to laugh when they throw people in jail. They're going to laugh when fucking all of your information, your banking, your fucking communications, etc., is going to be surveyed to make sure you never said anything too harsh, too critical of the establishment. They'll fucking laugh at you. Just like they laughed at Charlie Kirk, and just like they're laughing at his wife. Sam Hyde told you. They want you fucking dead. They want to laugh at your wife. They want your children fucking indoctrinated or killed. And they'll elect people that say it. They don't give a fuck. And we're busy fighting about Tucker Carlson interviewing someone. And our administration ain't doing shit. Nothing. Who's the person tasked with fighting corruption? Pam Bondi. Someone who's out there talking about fucking hate speech laws, Epstein binders from shit we knew from 4 years ago. That's where we're supposed to put our faith? A fucking DEI hire if I've ever seen one? But Rob, you don't understand. You see, there's a lot of technical battles that she's fought in court and won. Fuck you! AJC, thank you so much for your support. 10 memberships, thank you. And then $100, unbelievable. What a legend. Says, apologies for the previous super chat. I watched last night's stream and kept laughing at the rant last night. And I want the new metal whip song, whatever. God bless. I will bring it on. I do have to say this. Right now I have 243 people watching on YouTube and people watching on various other platforms. Rumble, thank you there. Twitch is all but dead. I got one person watching there. I don't know why I still stream there. By the way, I got an email from Twitch giving me fucking business about my intro song. Oh boy, Twitch is going to punish me again for my fair use fucking intro song. What's the point of even fighting with them? Nonetheless, that's a different rant. One of the things I find very strange, and I'm internally grateful, but I still don't understand it, is the people that donate huge sums of money to my channel, like HAC there, I will forever be in debt to. I did home health care for 14 years at one company and then a couple years at a different company before that. I only was making $20 an hour in basically my last 2 years at that company. Most of the time I toiled away making less than $15 an hour, and I worked 80 plus hours a week over and over and over. And I was really afraid to leave that job because it was guaranteed money, but I took a risk. Thanks to Andrew Wilson helping me out on streaming. And it is unbelievable how generous a handful of people have been in their, and I'll be honest, probably 75% of the super chats probably come from like 5% of the people. And that's not disparaging the people that don't give a lot of money. I am thankful for everyone who watches, even if you're not giving super chats. I'm eternally grateful for the people that give $2 here, $5 there. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I don't notice the handful of people like AJC, Jess Gerald, Unforced Ego, A. Freeman lately has been given an insane amount of money. Blasterbot gives an insane amount of money. And there's a lot of other people. There really are. And I'm sorry if I missed anyone's name. And I'm truly grateful for it. Truly. So I just want to let you know, I know oftentimes it could probably be a little frustrating when someone sends something like $100 in and I'm like, wow, thank you so much. Anyways, back to the topic. But it really does mean a lot. It really does. So I just wanted to, Long Haul Nate, another great dude. I mean, there's so many. Naughty Charm, who gives $5 every day. And again, there's too many people to name how fucking amazing they are. But really, it means a lot. And I think if you look at the metrics for my channel, haters are always going to say, like, you're botted and this, that, and the other. I think my channel is probably one of the least likely to be botted because the user engagement is so high. The amount of people that like the videos, the amount of people that chat compared to how many people are watching, the amount of people that super donate, super chat. If you look at me compared to other streamers and that are basically earning similar amounts of money to me, they in general have 4 or 5 times more people watching than me, which just goes to show how amazing this community is and how supportive they are. And I will be eternally grateful. So thank you, AJC, and to everyone else that donates. I really appreciate it. GB, thank you for the gifted membership. Knack Talk, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. And then GB is quickest, which I assume is the same GB, gifts another membership. Nicholas Lewis, $20 says, "Hey Rob, it's been a while. Have you seen the channel Def Not? I do not believe so. She's an arrogant coward building her channel by bashing the debate bros, including Andrew. As a debater I respect, I'd like your thoughts on her takes. Keep cooking, man." I'll have to check it out. Def Not. I don't know. Never heard of it, if I'm honest. So I apologize. Our friend Naughty Germ, $5. Thank you. Average Groiber, $10 says, "Good afternoon, Rob. Great to see everyone." Great to see you, man. Logical Thoughts, $5 says, "Liking your stuff. Thanks for the stream." My pleasure. Joel, look at this, $50. Thank you. Says, "Hey, Rob, some constructive criticism to help when abortionists try to argue for late-term medically necessary abortions. That's called a maternal fetal separation, where doctors aim to save the baby and mother, not just kill the baby." Yes, there comes a point, I didn't know that technical term, so thank you. There comes a point in abortion, once the baby's medically viable, that a C-section would seem like, even if you said we need to get this baby out of the woman right now because of elective reasons, because of medical reasons, that the C-section would solve the problem. Then you save the baby's life and the woman had the right to choose or whatever. The problem is there are people that agree that that woman should still be allowed to say, nope, even though a C-section is at this point similarly risky. In fact, some studies I've read show that after like 7 to 8 months, a C-section is actually less risky than an abortion because there are complications with abortions the later you go. So the C-section would remove the baby in a maternal fetal separation, or not necessarily a C-section, but you see the point. And yet people will still say, no, the woman has the right to kill that baby. Just showing how grotesque they are. Susan Smith, $5 says, "Here's a small amount of money. I'll take that money." Our good friend Zach Gilby, $20 says, "Even though we disagree in Israel, I agree that Trump's missing the boat in the bigger picture. He's definitely trusting the wrong people, not to mention Republicans in Congress that are utterly spineless." Yeah, I know we're going to disagree on Israel. I think that there's too much focus put on it. And even if there's not, the problem is what you would have to agree on. They're winning the PR war that there's too much focus on Israel. That's how people feel. Even if it's not true, that's how people feel. When people are like, I can't afford groceries, I'll never be able to buy a house, but I feel like the Trump administration's hyper-focused on Israel, or Ukraine, or Venezuela, they're going to vote accordingly. Crusader, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. And Knack Talk, $5 says, "We can tell you appreciate it. That's why it's easy to send money. You deserve it." Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I really do. Couple, before we bring in the calls, I assume we talk about whatever you want. I assume there's going to be a lot of talking about these elections. Not the biggest deal in the world. We lost an off-year election. Okay, fine. But it's very troubling. It's very troubling for what this might suggest about 2026. It shows there's a lot of people that feel that the country's not working for them right now. Mr. President, your response? Don't be a panicking. The stock market's cruising along. That's the official White House X account. Well then. Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought things were not doing the greatest because, I can't afford a house. I can barely afford groceries. I can't afford fucking health care. But hey, as long as the stock market's hitting record highs, I guess that's all that matters. How is this any different than when Biden was out there? How many times did I say during the Biden administration, what a fucking insane decision they're making? What an insane decision they're making. That the economy, we saw inflation numbers through the fucking roof. People, poll after poll, saying, we're struggling, we're struggling, we're struggling. And I said, imagine being a Biden supporter who's struggling, and you're like, oh, what's my president going to do to help me? What's my politicians going to do to help me? And you tune in and Biden goes, greatest economy ever, Jack. Well, geez, if they're saying how great it is, there's probably no help coming for you. So there you have it. All the people that were frustrated, you know what? There's problems back home. Don't worry. Trump says the stock market's great. Until the AI bubble bursts, then the stock market's going to be shit. And then what? And then what's Trump going to say? What do we have left at that point? Stock market's doing good because fucking Nvidia. Great. And a bunch of other AI fucking tech bullshit that's going to burst. And that's your message? That's your fucking message? People want populism, and by populism, I mean they feel that the establishment institutions in both the Republican and Democratic Party do not give a shit about them, and that they see a lot of people getting real fucking rich and the average person getting less and less and less and less and less. That's what they see, particularly young people. You can bitch all you want. Young people are, they're full of shit, and we had it harder you probably had it harder in Vietnam when you were getting trapped. Yep, totally agree. I'm certainly not a young person anymore. I'm 41. Okay. But my goodness. What, do my eyes look different? No, I'm not wearing liner. Maybe just the shadow from my head? I don't know. Do I look different? Is it better or worse? Maybe you have bags under my eyes because I didn't sleep so much? I don't know. Young people, the average first-time home buyer now, their age is 40. 40 years old to be a first-time home buyer. I don't know what to say. It's a fucking disaster. They're going to pick populism. And if the right's populism in Donald Trump ain't going to fucking help them, then they're going to go left. It's that simple. We are coming quickly to a point where young women that seem all but unreachable, at least in the near future, and foreign-born people are basically going to outnumber any other constituency, and they're going to control the direction of this country in perpetuity. That's where we're coming. And I'll show you one last clip before we bring in the calls. Mamdani wins there in New York. I understand why. Good speaker, saying a lot of things that are the right thing. Okay? They don't like you if you're Christian. They don't like you if you're a man. They don't like you if you're straight. Cultural Marxism. And they don't like you if you're white.
If it was all white people here right now, it would be boring as shit. I've grown up in those circles. Everybody needs some spice and some color in their lives. Life's a lot better. That's the coolest thing about America. Americans have no culture except for multiculturalism.
Well said.
And we need to teach people how to embrace that. These crusty white people need to learn how to embrace it.
Now, it was hard to hear what she said. Jennifer Welch says to Mehdi Hassan, a foreign-born Muslim who not 15 years ago was doing videos saying non-Muslims were cattle. She says to him, Americans have no culture except for multiculturalism. Crusty white people need to learn how to embrace it. Mehdi Hassan says, well said. That's your future. I lied. I said one more video. Let's do two. This is actor Roy Wood Jr., a rich man, talking to Shannon Sharp.
You know what's wild? I did Finding Your Roots, and they found the white family that purchased the first black wood of my bloodline off the slave ships in Charleston.
Yep. That's what we came off of.
If I wanted to today, I could find the white wood descendants in southern Georgia and pull up on a fucking house. One day I will.
Yeah.
They ain't got no money though. I Zillowed they crib. They broke. Like, yeah. That's the thing we'll talk about with slavery, man, is that there's a lot of white people fumbled. Like, yo.
They fumbled the bag.
Yeah, you had working for you, you still couldn't come up. How you broke and you had slaves?
Yeah, that was valuable. That was gold.
They fumbled.
They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. They're going to, as whites lose power in this country, and they will, as they lose population percentage, and they will, they're going to blame you for everything. And they coming. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. And it's all going to be voted on by white people, particularly young white women. And that's it. And we have a chance. By the way, now insert white for American. And that's what so many of the foreign people that we're bringing into America feel about Americans. Americans are bad. They fucked up the world. They have it coming. And we're importing them and putting them in positions of power. What side am I taking in my Nick Fuentes debate? It's not a debate, really. It's just a conversation about him. I have a nuanced view of Nick Fuentes. Now, my editor, Black Elk, sent me some clips. I don't like a lot of the shit Nick says. I think that a lot of the shit Nick says, like, I think anytime you're talking about fucking that mustachioed Austrian painter being a really good guy, you're fucking up immensely. I understand for a younger audience, that sort of shit's gonna, yeah, fuck it, yeah. And we want to shout the N-word and shit like that. Great. But once it becomes part of a movement and there's genuine, like, racial hatred to anyone who has Jewish ethnicity, like that woman that called in my show the other day, it's fucked up. Now, in fairness, Nick has at times said he doesn't like that, the people that have genuine racial hatred to people. But he's also said a lot of shit that's counter to that as well. Is he controlled opposition? Maybe, maybe not. I think he probably isn't. I think he's generally, organically who he is, but he's a fucking huge benefit to the left and to the establishment because they could point to him and it works. The average person's fucking disgusted, rightfully so, by a lot of shit he says. But part of the core of what he's saying, that it's like, look, there are things that we can't fucking, there are people in this country in positions of leadership that give more of a shit about Israel than they do about the United States, and that's fucked up. And when the response is, fuck him, he can't say that, then more people are going to go to him. That's basically my point. All right, let's bring in the callers. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. No, I know. Somewhere here I have. What's going on? I gotta pin this, but my goodness. It's gonna take me forever to pin this because the damn thing's scrolling like a. Let's go! Let's go! John Smith tuned into me saying young white women. Where are the white women at? One of my favorite lines in movie history. Did I not link this? What the hell's going on? Oh, there it is. All right, link pinned. We're going to follow terms of service. I don't care how much you like or hate Nick Fuentes. We're going to follow terms of service. We're not going to make racial slurs. We're not going to call for violence, no matter how bad you think things are getting. We're not going to make homophobic slurs. Bruce, thank you so much. $5 on Cash App. Always a pleasure, man. It says keep fighting the good fight. Yeah. Someone got the quote. Blazing said, where all the white women at? A couple more before we get to the calls. Relentless, thanks so much. $5 says, Big Grifter, Prince of the Grift. God bless you, brother. Thank you. I Stand America, $5 says, do you think Mamdani's an exception or a turning point for the Democratic Party moving forward? The optimistic part of me hopes it's the former. There's going to be more people like Mamdani. I think that what's going to happen is you'll see a co-option of the mainstream Democrats that will adapt more of his talking points, much like you saw Elizabeth Warren come out of the woodwork after Bernie Sanders in like 2014 and 2015 was getting so much attention. So then you had Elizabeth Warren that was like adopting the talking points of Bernie Sanders, but is reliably an establishment Democrat. So I think you're going to see these sort of talking points become more mainstream in the Democratic Party as people like Nancy Pelosi, by the way, I forgot to say this, announced her retirement today. Chuck Schumer's not long. Good chance he's going to lose his primary. And so the leadership, where you're going to see it swift to like the Hakeem Jeffries, the Amy Klobuchars, they're going to start adapting more of these sort of positions. Whether or not they actually install them, they probably won't because many of their donors aren't going to like a lot of these socialist positions, but they will adapt more of it. So, but there is no doubt that the base is with Mamdani. They are. The Democratic base is with Mamdani. And they're with Jay Jones that want Republicans killed. That's where the Democrat base is at. Contemporary Compendium, $2 says, this identifies as 200. Therefore, whip song now. No. Nicholas, but thanks for the $2. Nicholas Lewis, $20 says, I was literally going to call him to discuss populism. He beat me to it. I think downstream of picking leadership based purely upon are they like us or are we like them is bad for politics. Pendulums always swing back. I agree. Aquanote, $5. After Andrew's debate with Coach Chirp, it's tough not to see Nick's perspective. Stay hopeful. Love you, Rob. Thank you. I do owe one song to our friend AJC, so I'm going to play it real quick. New metal whip song. Get those donuts in. Man, can we get to 357 before one caller? It'd be amazing. You got like 2 minutes. Here we go. For our good friend AJC, real quick, the new metal version.
Well, there's a way. There's a way. Well, there's a way. There's a way. Well, there's a whip. Well, there's a way. Well, there's a whip. There's a way, but there's a whip. There's a way, but there's a whip. Why left? Right. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. Well, there's a whip.
Come on, we're only 87 away, we can do it!
But the Lord of the last says, nay. We gotta march all day. There's a whip, there's a way. There's a whip, there's a way. There's a whip, there's a way. There's a whip, right, left. There's a whip, right, left.
get there. That's all right. That's all right. We still did very good. Go Nipples, $5. Thank you. From Bumbly, $2 says, I'd rather listen to Nick than Ryan or Sarah. And AI Chatbot, $5 says, who are we kidding that we don't like communism and socialism while lying in trade deals with China, Vietnam, etc.? Look, there's an awful lot of people that decry socialism and shit, and then they want a lot of this spending. I'm not purely against all government social programs, but my goodness, it's one of the big criticisms I levied at Trump in the first term. Like the idea that we had this Tea Party that was like too much spending, too much spending, too much spending, too much spending. Then Trump comes in and spends at a record clip and everyone goes, yeah, but his spending's good. Then we get the first big, beautiful bill. Remember, Trump passes the big, beautiful bill. And I'm like, listen, I can see it both ways. I'm fucking pissed about it because it spends a shitload of money. Where's the fiscal conservatism? Where is it? But on the other hand, I am persuaded by the argument that's like things are so fucked up, particularly with the millions of people that flooded in, it's going to cost a lot of money for enforcement to get them out. But then he comes out and he's like, I talked to some farmers and they said that some of the people we've been targeting have been the wrong people. And actually, we should allow some of these very hardworking people to stay and blah, blah, blah. Remember that? And I said, then what's the fucking point? Once you start signaling, by the way, we're not going to do all the deportations we promised, then why are we supporting this massive fucking spending under the auspices of, well, we got to have these big deportations? You got to spend all this money that you don't want because it's necessary for the deportations that we're not going to do. Then what was the fucking point? As far as whip songs, we're going to do something. I'm talking to some folks about getting all those songs out for members or something like that. So, all right. Here we go. Not violating TOS. First caller, GG, what's happening?
Hey, Rob, doing good. Yeah, you're hitting all the highlight reels of that you were talking about last night. I was like, oh, you're speaking my language about housing. And I tried to catch up last night on the stream to where I left off when I went to bed. And I hopped to a spot on the stream where you're like, they're going to kill you. And I just started cracking.
It is. They're eating cats and dogs. Now, listen, it's a bit hyperbolic, but not really, to suggest that, like, there will be cases in the next 20 years. Hell, this might happen this year. It's probably already happened. There will be cases where a black person will kill a white person. It'll be dead to rights. And there's going to be sympathetic prosecutors and jurors that are going to be like, yeah, but historical pain, ancestral trauma. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be that sort of idea. And it's just like, I don't know how you could wake people up and say like when you see wealthy black people being like, I'm going to pull up on these fucking poor white people because 300 years ago, their family did something shitty to my family and they fucked up. They fucked up not wielding that power when they had it. Well, implicitly he's saying if we get to power, we ain't go fuck up. We're going to do it. But as always, no one wants to take them at their word. So I don't know.
Yeah, I dropped a link in the chat if you want to bring that up about the median age home buyer.
Yeah.
I got some links for you today. That rant I was going to go on the house.
Nice.
So this is like a graphical representation of what you were saying. So the red line, the first time median home buyer, obviously just jumped to 40. That just got dropped off. Another thing that you want to see is at the 2005 line, around where the repeat home buyers they're about in their mid 40s and now they're in their early 60s. That's basically the same people. Like it's just a straight line with age. They've just been buying the same. They're carrying the whole entire housing market. Everybody else just got left to dry.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. Yeah.
So like you hit the nail on the head. Affordability is the red flag issue. Back when Trump ran the first time, everybody didn't know what the red flag issue, but he drove home the, corruption, and that hooked a lot of people. But now it's the unaffordability crisis. If you're not hitting that as a candidate, you're done. Doesn't matter what the other sides, what they call themselves, socialist, communist, whatever. If you're not hitting that, you're screwed. It's over. And so if you want to do a history lesson on who caused it, it's mostly the Dems. So if you live in a state where mass migration came in, open borders. So the FHA graph, where here I got that one right here if you want to see that too.
Sure, go ahead and put it in the private now.
Yeah.
And I just want to say real quick, when you look, I mean, my goodness, look when Trump came into office, 32 years old would have been the first time home buyer, right? Yeah. Now 8 years later it's 40. It's as if for 8 years no one has bought a home, right? In that demographic.
Yeah, it's like your financial timeline froze. That's
Yes.
basically me when 2020 hit. I was about to buy my first home, and everybody ran me the fuck out of the market. And it's 5 years later, and I could do it now, but it's so unaffordable that doesn't make sense. There's FHA loan, so non-permanent residents could get all these. Ran up during Biden, so that's an issue. We can hammer them over the head. And we did the math before of 2024 is about 4% of FHA borrows, which means about 1% of all homes for sale, non-permanent residents bought them. So you think that 1% was just distributed across all the pricing points equally? No, they're like all the bottom quartile or half that the first-time home buyers are competing with. Those are our competition. So about 1 in 25, 1 in 50, depending on if they're all, what bucket they're in, that bought homes were non-residents. And so young people, that's you. So if you want to show that to the young people to get them hyped, or to say this is their fault, they did this. If you want to do the investor thing, it's pretty much the same story, similarly, of driving up the home prices at the bottom end because the Fed cranked the rates to zero. They were buying mortgage-backed securities when CPI was 7%. It was 7%, and they were lowering the mortgage rate when the housing market year over year was plus 30% or 40% at that time, at least in my area. So again, more people to bash the heads over. If you're already owned a home, you're like, wow, look at all these paper benefits that you had, all the paper gains. Well, now the property taxes and insurance have just been eating you up. So if
you want to know, I got a call yesterday. My escrow has gone up $123 a month.
Yep.
Because they sent out the assessor, and guess what? My home that I bought for less than $90,000 now evaluated at something like $150,000.
Yep.
Now that's all well and good, except no one could afford in my area to pay that price for a house if I decided to sell. Yep. And where the hell would I live anyways?
Yep.
So also the net effect to me, it's like, oh boy, the value of your home went up. That's great. Yeah, that just means I pay $100 more a month. That's it in taxes. That's the net fucking benefit to me.
That's what people used to bitch at when I was younger, and I understood it back then because we had high property taxes where we lived. Who cares if your housing price goes up? You have to sell it to move to another one. If it goes up, you're just screwing yourself in the short run. So, and if you're a renter, all this trickles down to you anyways, because the landlord needs to try to keep their margin. And the only way they could is if they refinance at a low percent or they have in cash and they can take a hit on margin. So every angle you can hammer the debt, hang the wreath of unaffordability on their neck and just beat them. And if you don't have a solution to this in any way, shape, or form, whether it be increasing jobs so you just make more money, that's going to be the only way we get out of this. Is because last time this unaffordability happened back in the 70s, 80s, it took 10 years for the housing market to actually pick back up. And we're 5 years in, 2 or 3 years in. So if it holds true, we had about 7 more years to go of just eating shit, of just nobody having any money.
Well, and there's what are Republicans suggesting, right? How about more H-1Bs? I mean, you can't make this shit up. There aren't these H-1Bs. Oftentimes, what they're doing is jobs that would be people straight out of university, or low-level jobs that not low-level in this, but sometimes truckers. Fuck, we see that. And so they're taking housing, right? And by the way, I'm not shitting on them as people. If I'm in fucking India and I want to come to the United States, maybe I want to come and do everything right and work and be productive and all that shit. But from the perspective of our country, looking out for the needs of our people, right? How the fuck's that helping us? And that's one of the things, listen, I'm sorry. Here, I'll play this for you.
And I got another link, and that kind of goes to what you're talking about too. If you want
okay, yeah. I'll get to it 1 second. This, who did I support in the primary? Vivek. Vivek had that big screed, remember, about, H-1Bs, and we need all these people, and Saved by the Bell, and all that shit. Here's what he diagnosed from the election laws. Ready?
We got our asses handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all 3. There's 2 key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number 1, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it. And number 2, cut out the identity politics. It doesn't suit Republicans. It's not for us. That's the woke left's game, not ours. We don't care about the color of your skin or your religion. We care about the content of your character. That's who we are.
We care about you raising GDP. That's what he might as well have said. That's it. We don't give a shit. And here's the thing, right? You could, I talked about this yesterday. Okay, so we're bringing these people on H-1Bs and we're allowing people to legally stay in. How are they voting? Huh? How's that going? Well, again, this isn't a direct graph of that, but it's just the one I had upon me. Let me find it real quick. There we go. How's that working? Oh, they're electing socialist Muslims? These people we're bringing in? But don't play identity politics. Just bring in millions upon millions of more people to outcompete you with jobs that will then vote antithetically to everything you believe. But we don't play that game. We don't play that game of identity politics. What really matters is, and ironically, it's like housing affordability. Okay, Vivek, how the fuck are you going to do that when you want to import millions upon millions of H-1Bs? I mean, I understand his perspective because he's like, these are my people. Good for you, man. Sticking up for your people. I want to stick up for my people. And that's the people that already live here. That's who my people are. So Vivek, you stick up for your people. Some of the people that already live here. And then the other folks back in India that you really want to come here to do all these jobs because it'll raise GDP and it'll help the dono class hire cheaper employees. And meanwhile, young people are going to be like, where the fuck's my house? Where the fuck's my job? And they're going to keep voting liberal. But hey, as long as you say, we ain't playing identity politics, you're winning, dude. I mean, what a load of shit. All right, here is.
So this is the work permits over time, and it'll be a very similar graph. Like, yeah, right there. Look at that. And the reason why I found this graph is because in Q3, I dropped the link to if you want to look at that. The rental prices in America dropped, which for like the first time since like 2003. That's hard to do. So that's how strapped everything is. And the thought process that someone had that I was watching is maybe immigration is playing into this because we just don't have enough people anymore. So we built a shitload of multifamily. So, you know, I assume it's more towards that. But yeah, it's hard to drop rent prices in America. And
look at this. How many permits we have for foreigners coming in here? By the way, this is in millions. So we go from Trump's term 2016, 2.7 million, right? And now look where we're at here in 2024. We're up 6.34 billion. That's triple, right? And then let's compare that to
the FHA graph.
This graph.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, and it's really, or, you know, the FHA loan graph. Where's that one at?
Yeah, it looks, it's the second one, the X. Yeah, it looks like the same graph, doesn't it?
Look at this. Look at these graphs. The same fucking graph, all three of them.
Yep. It all points to the same thing. You can't hide it. It's just
and
where right there.
The Republican message is like, I don't even know what they're suggesting. Okay, they're like, let's boost the economy. Great. By the way, this is the same argument they have with deficit spending. And Bessonnet talked about this. The two trains of thought are, okay, either got to massively cut spending. Now, the problem with that is that's hard to win on.
Yep.
It's hard to win elections. The time to do that is day one after you win. 2025. Okay, fuck it. Start cutting spending massively right now to the best of our ability. That's what Doge was about. Let's find the most wasteful spending and cut it. Doge goes out there, finds shit. They basically do jack shit. Big, beautiful bill spending. Okay, now it's too late. You ain't going to be able to do it this next year because the problem is, like, if you were like, we're going to massively reduce food stamps, for example. How do you think those people that get food stamps are going to vote? They're going to vote for the other party. So you're going to lose, right? Okay. So that ship sailed. The other possibility is we just have to increase productivity and wealth to the point where we could outpace the debt, basically. But good luck, right? Yeah, I guess that's a pie in the sky dream. So that's basically it with housing as well, right? Well, we're just going to have a banger economy. And then you'll be able to afford more houses. Where? There's a shortage.
Yeah, it's mostly banker and just printing.
Yes.
Like that's the way. So like you want to hit the gas of almost like the meme of where there's a bunch of speed bumps and you drive so fast that you leap over many of them that it's less bumpy that way. That's the end game for them because the other way is basically impossible electorally and economically. I think if you cut that hard, we would absolutely implode. Like the debt would eat us alive. That's the issue is we've cornered ourselves into there's only like one move left, which is basically if AI doesn't save us, it's over. It's a wrap. And so that's why everybody's piling into it, because you either do that or we implode. In my mind, we either hypergrow or we implode.
Yeah, and like, so it's like, oh, okay, then what's the Democrat solution? Well, socialism, well, free housing for people. And by the way, massive importation of people from around the world as well. We'll do that. But we're going to build a bunch of houses and then we'll subsidize them through the government.
Yeah, and
I mean, that's worse. But the problem is, like, so you're like, the only chance you have then is sort of a Republican agenda. And right out of the gate, they start fucking backtracking right out of the gate. Well, we need to, H-1Bs, very important, keep them going. At least, and again, if we go back to the FHA loan, we talked about this previously, this chart, the hilarious, where the hell is it? There it is.
Second one.
So for those that don't know, if you look at this chart, to Trump's credit, he starts putting a hold on, because I want you to think of the insanity of this. And I know we talked about this before. What this is are like, basically, I'm a layman, so I'm going to put this as dumb as possible, so that other people that are laymen like me can understand it in a very like superficial way. FHA loans are basically loans that are give a little bit of certain benefits that are guaranteed by the government for basically first-time home buyers or poor home buyers. That's the point. Right? So the very people in this chart that we're talking about that are struggling, the first-time home buyers, that's sort of where your FHA loans are supposed to go. Supposed to help those people. Now, what you'll see here is not only they go up as soon as Biden comes into office, whoop, they start going up, right? To the percentage of people. But these are people that are not going to be permanent residents of the United States. If ever there were people you would expect to rent, it would be people that are here for 4 years and then going home. Why would they be buying homes? Why would the government be subsidizing these people buying homes? And so then you see what happens once it becomes evident that Trump's going to like start to rein this in. Look what happens. Whoop. They shoot up. They're like, oh shit, the jig's up. Loot the fucking treasury before you're out the door. And that's what they did. And so I give Trump credit for this. But my goodness, I mean, it's terrible. Well, Gigi, I'll give you the final word, and then I do have a bunch of callers. But yeah, it's infuriating. And look, this issue, inflation, being able to afford groceries and shit like that, and healthcare. That's gonna be it. It's the economy, stupid, right? It's still the economy. It's always the economy. It always is. And what is the vision? Like, listen, I get it. Like, if you take inflation and it's like this, and then all of a sudden under Biden it goes, and then with Trump it starts to trend back in the way it was. Yeah, you're like, we're not an idiot. We didn't expect Trump to be able to like bring it down. But at some point you have to understand people are still struggling.
Yeah,
it's not that just because it's like that increase, the massive increase we had under Biden, like that still exists. And so for Trump to be like golden age, stock market, kicking ass.
Yeah,
no, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. You know?
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, yeah, if you go back to the status quo, it's the same thing as Biden was saying. Oh, everything's great. And so if you keep saying everything's great when everybody knows it's not great, they knew how their life was 6-7 years ago. And they're like, I could get by, I could go places. We can't do that anymore. So if you don't own the unaffordability and either hang it on the other candidate's head that you're facing, or and preferably have your own solution in some way, whether that be economically that we improve it so you can afford more things or lower the cost of things. Things are coming down. Like it's a bifurcated market between like the Midwest and the Northeast, and the South and the West are decreasing, but everywhere is decreasing and cooling off. So hopefully they mostly let it correct. I'm scared that Pulte is going to do some crazy shit where he just like, hey, we're giving out rebates for all the big home buyers so they give more houses out. I'm scared they're going to do that because they're already creating the boogeyman of the big home builders have like 2 million lots. I already noticed that's a talking point they want to go with, which ideally they would build on, but there are no buyers because we can't fucking afford it.
Yep,
that's the issue,
right? Yeah,
so,
it's
anyway.
yeah. I always appreciate it, man, and I think it's one of the most important issues. And it just seems that, like, listen, it's not my forte. I'm focused more on like corruption. I want to see fucking people, indicted and locked up for corruption that we saw against Trump and all this other shit, right? But I fully admit that that's not the issue that's ringing as the most important shit when it comes to the actual voter.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to say. Like when it comes to, by the way, I'll say this real quick. When it comes to corruption, all these stories are hard to understand. Like all these Arctic Frost stories, it's not going to resonate. People are going to be like, huh? Because it's complicated. The one issue of corruption that was easy to resonate with was the Epstein shit. Trump shit all over that.
Yeah, crime.
So it's like, okay, so I guess we're back to the economy if you could do anything, and looks like no help on the horizon as far as I see. So
yeah, my big topic is the debt and trickle down affordability. That's kind of where I focus on. But yeah, I appreciate it, Rob. Thanks
Thanks so much. We'll talk soon, man.
Not one step back for Charlie Kirk. Shout out for the grift.
Thank you, man. Always appreciate it. Thanks so much. Not quite dead. $10 says seeing the right cuddling with fascist Fuentes and other socialists makes me sick. Smells like sabotage. Yeah, but the hyper focus on it is even more sabotage. If there's any sabotage, it's like where's the right cuddling with Nick Fuentes? Because he's saying certain things. Like it's like this. If Nick Fuentes comes out and is like, hey, stop focusing on foreign policy and focus on housing affordability and deporting people, that's a message that 90% of Trump's base agrees with, right? Then the 10% of shit that Nick's saying that you don't like, it's like, okay, that's fucked up, right? And instead of focusing on that shit, what the Republican class, the Ben Shapiros are doing is like, oh my God, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes. Oh my goodness. Again, I'll play this from you want to know how Democrats handle this shit? You see Democrats falling all over themselves to keep bringing up, like in a Streisand effect, Fuentes. Every fucking Republican of influence. That's what they're doing, right? Want to see how Democrats handle it? Jay Johnson basically said he's cheering for the death of Republicans' children. He's running for Attorney General. Attorney General in Virginia. The woman running for governor that had endorsed him, who also won, Abigail Spanger, she's asked over and over in the debate, over and over, my goodness, denounce this man, denounce him. Let's see how she did it. By the way, this was a winning strategy. This won. Let's see how she did it when it was demanded. Like people, denounce Nick Fuentes, denounce. Republicans can't wait to fall over themselves. Every day talking about Nick Fuentes. Their big pitch going into the 2025 election. Okay, here we are. We're days outside the election. What's your big pitch? Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes. That's horrible. Let's see how Democrats handle it. Objectively worse than anything Fuentes has said Jay Johnson did. Nick Fuentes not running for Attorney General. Jay Johnson is. Here's how Democrats handled it.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right? Have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race.
That's how Democrats handle it. But hey, maybe me and every other conservative from now until perpetuity should do streams about like, oh, we don't like Nick Fuentes. We don't like him. Oh, it's terrible. Nick Fuentes, terrible. He talked to Tucker Carlson. That's terrible. That dude from Heritage said that he was okay with that interview. It's terrible. Nick Fuentes. Maybe we should start I recommended starting every Trump press conference and Republican press conference with Republicans showing the people celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, showing them being violent, showing them attacking ICE. But instead, that's the wrong strategy. Instead, what they should do is just stand up for like 20 minutes and condemn Nick Fuentes every day. There's a winning strategy. There it is. And maybe you're like, I hate Nick Fuentes. I despise him. I think he's terrible. Then you know what you should do? Shut the fuck up about him. Shut the fuck up. That's what you should do. Because every time you talk about him, then that's what the focus becomes. Oh, now we're focused on Nick Fuentes. Great. Okay, Nick Fuentes. Housing affordability? Don't have time for that. We're too busy sending money to Ukraine and Israel and denouncing Nick Fuentes. Healthcare? Changing mail-in voting? No time for that. Those mass deportations we were promised? No time for that. But holy shit, we have time to denounce Nick Fuentes. That we have in spades. We have that. Oh boy, we're crushing that part. I'll tell you this much. The base that's number one issue is denouncing Nick Fuentes. Oh boy, they're going to love the Republicans. They're going to love it. Oh, what's that? That's like 3 people in the fucking country. Well, we got those votes locked up. We got that. Woo! Thank goodness. Thank goodness we fucking, tackled the big issues. Meanwhile, Democrats are out there like, hey, we could kill your fucking children. And the rest of them are like, is it my turn to speak? I did this last night. I'm Senator robnoerr. I'm walking out of like a hearing. Mr. Senator, Senator Noor, what do you think about Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes? Nick who? Yeah, I didn't see that. I was focused on Democrats that were celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk and then repeating the language that the shooter actually wrote on bullets. That's what I was. They're still calling Kirk a fascist. They're calling all of us fascists when they know that their little supporters are out there killing us. They're climbing on top of buildings, shooting at ICE agents. Right now, they're attacking ICE in cities all across this country, and Democrats are doing everything possible to not only ensure that we can't protect those ICE agents, but to expose them so that their families could be in danger as well because they know that their left-wing agitators will do that. Just like they did to Brett Kavanaugh after Chuck Schumer said that he would reap the whirlwind, and then somebody tried to assassinate him. That's what the Democrats are. In addition to that, focusing on things like housing prices, that seems to be something that's a disaster. How about affordability for the country? Those are the things I'm focused on. Nick who? I'm sorry, what was the question? But instead we get Ted Cruz. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by Nick Fuentes. Not quite dead. $10 says, I guess talking bad about Nazis is bad politics now. Yes! If you equivocate constantly focusing on Nick Fuentes as, well, so we can't talk bad about Nazis. You call it whatever you want. You can change the language to what you want. Yes, it's bad politics. Yes! It's absolutely fucking, without a shadow of a doubt, bad politics. Does anyone fucking disagree with this? I want you to show me polling that shows that it is in the top 50 of any fucking constituency in this country to denounce Nick Fuentes. Show me. Where is that fucking group that's their issue? Where is it? There's an awful lot of people on the other side of the issue, though, isn't there? That say the problem is the Israel first focus. There's a lot of fucking people that believe that. But I'm not seeing the please denounce Nick Fuentes faction of the electorate. I don't see it. I don't fucking see it. I see Democrats actually supporting people calling for the death of Republican children. And I see Republicans that can never fucking stop themselves, but to constantly, instead of focusing on real issues, focus on condemning people within their own party or condemning people that are at least claiming to be associated with the right wing. That's all I see. They can do it till the blue in the face. Why don't they just get a fucking list of people? Fuck it. Why even bother trying to pass any bills or anything? Just get a list of fucking people. Right? Not quite dead. These are the people we consider Nazis, and we're just going to read them every day and say, I condemn, I condemn, I condemn, I condemn. That's good politics, right? That's good politics. Meanwhile, what's the net effect of this? As Republicans keep doing this, and I'm not saying that I fucking like Nick Fuentes. I'm not. But here's what happens. They're so busy condemning Nick Fuentes, and they're not doing fuck all for the American people, that the American people go, why is there so much energy on this Fuentes guy? I wonder what he's saying. Oh, he's saying that the Trump administration and Republicans don't give a fuck about us. That kind of seems true. They're saying that they're more interested in protecting Israel. Maybe he has a point here. Yeah, he says a bunch of other fucked up shit. Maybe they'll agree with that. Maybe they'll be turned off. But all of a sudden, it's like, he must be saying something, because if some random guy in the street corner is shouting about fucking the mustachioed Austrian painter, no one gives a fuck. What is it specifically about this guy? Not Quite Dead, $10 says, Fuentes is a literal National Socialist and is glazed the mustache man in Stalin and is an open racist. Oh, never mind. Well, never mind. Fuck, sorry. I take back everything I said. Given that, now it makes sense for the Republicans to hyper-focus on criticizing him, particularly going into an election. Makes sense now. I'm sorry. Yep, that makes sense. Hey, anybody who's watching that's young, anybody, I know you really wanted, affordable housing, but listen, I don't know if you knew this, but Fuentes is a National Socialist and is glazed mustache man in Stalin, so we're going to have to put all of our energy there of criticizing him. Sorry, no affordable housing. Mass deportations, no thanks. We can't do that. Sorry, we're not going to be able to deal with the inflation and stuff, because I don't know if you knew. Like, when I was formerly saying, maybe we should deal with that instead of hyper-focusing on Fuentes, and the hyper-focus on Fuentes, even if you hate him and think that he's a National Socialist and a racist, this hyper-focus just makes him more powerful, and it makes more people watch him. When I said that, what I didn't realize was he is an open National Socialist who likes that mustache. But now that I know that, now the hyper-focus needs to be on Fuentes. That's it. Makes sense. Day after 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 day, I will deal with this. People that I like, that are awesome members of this community, that I really respect, that are going to come on and tell me on a daily basis that the Republican strategy needs to be to continue to focus on Nick Fuentes and condemn him every single day. They're going to do it. And they're going to drive this fucking party and this administration off a fucking cliff. There is no data point whatsoever. There is nothing remotely close to suggesting that this is a winning strategy. Nothing. Everything says to the counter. Everything says to the counter. And yet, it does not matter. It will not matter to people like Not Quite Dead, who I respect and think is an awesome person. It does not matter. He will be happy to see that we continue to spend all of our time condemning Nick Fuentes as Democrats put us in fucking prison as they win election after election. When we're lining up for the fucking gulag, he'll be standing next to me going, hey, at least we condemn Nick Fuentes, right? Just know this, is that noose is being put around your neck. Just know this. We didn't like Nick Fuentes. Well, we did it. We're successful. We did it. We did it. Awesome. It doesn't matter. You guys I can show you right there that the Virginia governor that won. What do you think about this guy that said more heinous shit than Nick Fuentes, calling for the death of Republican children? Her response? She wins. The guy that called for the death, he wins. That's what Democrats are doing. And what are the people on our side doing? Hey, listen, we're not condemning Nick Fuentes enough. We got to condemn him more. Oh, is Nick Fuentes running for Attorney General? Well, no. Okay, so what did he do? Well, he got interviewed on Tucker Carlson's show. Okay. Well, I don't understand it. And these aren't dumb people. I don't understand it. I don't fucking understand it. I just don't. And I get more animated about this. Like, when I get the most pissed off, it's when people that I respect, people that come from very similar political beliefs as me, like, I remember, this is like when I was arguing back in 2020 about Bill Barr being a sack of shit. And I had, granted, way less people watching at the time, but I had people tell me, nah, dog, trust the plan. Why are you upset? And I'm like, wait, what? This guy's horrible. We're going to lose the election. They're telling me, nah, man, we're going to win 48 out of 50 states. These are people I like telling me this. And I'm like, how can you not see that this is an incredible fuck up? You don't like Nick Fuentes? Great. He's a fucking horrible person. 2 points. And now what? Now what? What do you want? Every day that you demand that politicians bitch more about him is another 100 people that run right to him and agree with him. Every fucking day. And you're like, well, then let's bitch more about him. Okay, there's 500 more people. Let's bitch more. Okay, there's 1,000 more people. This time we'll bitch more. Okay, there's 5,000 more people. And it doesn't matter. Let's double down. I know what the answer is. It's that 5,000 people just went because we were bitching. Let's bitch more. That's how we win elections. Lone Bolt, $10 says, how's this bill immigration birth rate? Where's the American dream that was promised? Picking out of my my retirement isn't, or living out of my semi isn't for me. I agree, Lone Bolt. From Bumbly, thanks so much. $10 says, W. robnoerr, thank you. John Smith, $5 says, then is Rob going to address Trump Steinuary 620? It's hard to say, but yeah. Premonition, $5 says, it's all so terrifying. Sorry, I'm late to the conversation today. It is. It's terrifying. Not Quite Dead's a great guy. He really is. It's a difference of opinion. Look, like other people, like my friend Zach Gelpy, he probably disagrees with me on this. I just don't know what to say. I understand from a moral perspective, if you hate Nick Fuentes, why the fuck shouldn't you be able to talk about him? Totally agree. There's shit that he says that I despise. Totally agree. I think that he's doing damage to the Republican brand. Totally agree. But I think there are core things that he's saying that are true. And that core thing is that we're more focused on superficial shit about foreign policy than we are the fucking promises that we made to the people back home. That part's true, right? And when the people that are responsible for that want to spend all their time just bitching about Nick Fuentes, who isn't in political power, all they're doing is making people look at his message more. That's it. That's all it is. And this is true of so many other. Why don't you address this person? Why don't you address this troll? Address this troll, Rob. Address this troll. Address this troll. The mere fact that you start to address them brings more attention to it, which actually helps the trolling. But that's the answer to Nick Fuentes for some reason. I'll never get it. I just won't. Guitarist, $10. Hey, Rob, do you have any advice for young right-wingers that want to get into local politics debate? Thanks for all you do. Not one step back. Debate. Go to debate. Get Andrew Wilson's debate course, right? And go over to the Foundry, which is the Crucible's Discord, and they have a debate club there, which is awesome. So that's a good way to get in debate. If you're at university, your university probably has a debate team. If not, if you contact people within your speech comm department, or maybe your politics department, that's where most of them are, your political science, they might be able to help you form that. You could go to these places that have open panels, like Verbal Combat. Sarah Tomatoes' channel has open panels. Prime K's used to have open panels. You could go there, and that's a good place to get into just starting to debate. Other than that, in a non-online sphere, right, you could just start listening to shows like me and come up with arguments that you would disagree with and things like that, and then call in. And if there's anything you need to say in a call-in show to argue back and forth, you would be able to do that. As far as getting into politics, presuming you're Republican, I guess even if you're a Democrat, this would be true. Go to your local Republican county meetings. Start there, right? Most people getting into politics, it's not that you're going to be governor, senator, or any of that stuff. It's going to be that you're going to be someone who's helping out on the ground level. So go there, sit in for their meetings 4 or 5 times. Usually it's once a month. Then after that, start volunteering for simple things. Yeah, I could make brownies to come to this meeting. Sure, I could put yard signs up and things like that. That's a good start to get in there. And then inevitably run for a local thing, run for school board, run for comptroller of your town or something like that. But not everyone needs to get involved in politics. Getting involved in culture is actually more important. Lone Bolt, $5 says, thoughts on Candace's coverage of the Kirk conspiracy, Senator Noor. Didn't pay attention. Tacit Tempo, $5. The right is suicidal. It's bleak. I figured given the recent events, we'd be able to come together in force, but we can't stop fucking it up. We're a death cult. Yep, that's it. Democrats lining up to kill us, and the right's like, yeah, but what about Nick Fuentes? There you go. Bandit, $2 says, it's hard to argue Virginia is better than Kentucky today. Totally true. And Bandit for another 2 says, chat, be glad your top cop doesn't want you dead. By the way, that's going to be a goal. Thank you guys so much. Even to those that I disagree with. Like, let me be clear. Not Quite Dead's a fucking tremendous dude. He really is. We're men. We could disagree. And who the fuck knows? Who am I? Maybe he's right. Maybe if we just fucking somehow condemn Nick Fuentes to the point where somehow it'll make him look like a joke. I can't even fathom this is remotely possible, but maybe he's right. And then all of a sudden people will flock in droves to the Republican Party, and all of a sudden we'll start winning key elections and start giving a shit about the people back home. It's possibly true. It's not outside the realm of possibility. It's not. And I'm certainly not telling people that they have to flock to Nick Fuentes and like him or any shit like that. I ain't saying that at all. But Not Quite Dead and a lot of these people on the right, they're searching for answers just like me and all of you. They see fucking shit that they don't like from someone like Nick Fuentes. They have every right to bitch about it. I'm just saying that I think the hyper-focused on the bitching of that, particularly in people in positions of leadership and messaging, is a huge fucking mistake. That's all I'm saying. So I hope no one takes it personally. We're fucking men. We argue, we disagree. That's what we do. Yeah, I barely know. Like, it's like the Candace Owens shit. People keep asking me, want to know my response to the Candace Owens shit? I have not watched 1 second of it. I saw a clip where she was like, how about this guy in the hoodie? And the guy in the hoodie's like, yeah, I was there. I was like with the soccer team. All right, Miggy, what's happening?
What's good, Rob? Well, I have something for you as a, I guess, something that everybody should take some note of. So, I guess, the founder of Dubai was interviewed and asked this about, I guess, history and probably going to be for the future. He said this: his dad rode a camel, his granddad rode a camel. I, myself, the founder of Dubai, is driving a Mercedes. My son would drive a Range Rover. My grandson would drive a Range Rover. But my great-grandson would be riding a camel again. Why is that? They asked him. Because hard times create strong men. Strong men create great times. Great times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. It's a never-ending cycle. Empires fall, rises and falls. And you see this every time with big empires like the Egyptians, Romans, Persians, the Mongols. Every empire that has become successful has rotted from the inside. It's because people have become weak and have become the victim of their own success. We're seeing this right now with the American empire in the West. The West has basically become a victim of its own success, and we have become rotted through suicidal empathy. And there's a lot of young women who are basically subscribing to that suicidal empathy, and pretty much the barbarians are at the door now. And of course, with the Republican Party being is today, it's pretty much the example of weak men creating hard times.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, it's to our shame, whether you take it as a Christian lens, a cultural American lens, a racial lens, whatever lens that you want to take it. The truth is that what our forefathers, we stand on the shoulders of giants and we're squandering it all away. We all are. And that's all of us. That's me included. No matter what I say, it's this generation and the generation before it and the generation before it that's making things worse and worse and worse. And inevitably, the shoe's going to drop on our kids or on our grandkids. That's where it's going to drop. We look at the boomers today. They're living like kings. Their pensions are high. They got a bunch of fucking rental property. Everything going swell for them. Look at Canada. They don't give a fuck. Yeah, whatever. Import a bunch of people. Makes my life easier. Great. Yeah, but what about the next generation? What about the next generation? Oh, who gives a fuck? Multiculturalism, good. Fuck you. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of which, Canada, they had that election back in April where, the younger generation voted for the Conservative Party for Pierre because they're living in an affordability crisis over there. But the older generation, the boomers, who are living in high, well, they still voted for the Liberal Party because they have Trump derangement syndrome. That was their number one issue, was because of Trump for the boomers. While the younger generation is like, I can't get ahead. I can't own a home. I can't pay rent. I'm literally struggling just to even get by. No, Boomer generation said, "Fuck you. You don't like Trump. We're gonna sell your ass out again." And that's basically what happened. Like the boomers, it started with the boomers becoming the beneficiary of the silent generation success of World War II and establishing this neoliberal order. And the boomer generation just squandered it by selling out Gen X, Y, and Z, and now Alpha and Beta. All of us got sold out. And it's no wonder why Mondani is becoming a powerful figure, despite only being the mayor of New York. And like that, because the affordability crisis is out of control in New York. Like the rent in New York City is ridiculous.
There was a time in this country, right, where JFK being a Catholic was a huge detriment to him running as president. Because it was like, even though we were in the country at the time, we wanted Christians, right, to run. Well, Catholic, would it be, beholden to the Pope or something like that? Now, in the economic and cultural hub of the country, we've elected a Muslim that's basically like, all but saying he's pro-Hamas, he's a socialist, and no one bats an eye. And to comment on it, they're like, well, you're racist. That's racism. I don't know what to say. I mean, when you look at the demographic change, and there doesn't seem to be any change on the horizon, when it comes to the fact that we're not deporting people, the people we've already imported, their sort of birth rates, and the fact that we're gonna, as soon as Trump's out of office, we're gonna ramp it up again, baby. Ramp it right up. Like, the writing's on the wall. This is it.
I see.
This is it.
I'm seeing it right now. Like for the past few, just after Charlie Kirk's, passing, there should have been a turning point for the Trump administration to, to go all in, balls deep. Don't give a shit about the judge. Don't give a shit about Congress. Just go balls deep. 100%, 110% effort. No, that didn't happen. Susie Wiles fucks up the whole administration staff as chief of staff. Pam Bondi, absolute dumb bimbo. Like, this is what I mean. Like, this, we are living in the, we have weak leadership that from, it doesn't matter what race.
Well, it's
like
intentional. It's not just, I mean, you're right. It's weak, but it's intentional. I'm not saying everyone, like the random congressman from my area. I'm not saying that. But at the leadership level of the Republican Party outside of Trump, so the leadership level in the House and in the Senate, this isn't a mistake. This is intentional. And it's been intentional. They want an erosion of national identity. They want globalism. That's what they want. The biggest impediment to it is sort of people that aren't reliant on the government for their existence in the West, particularly the United States. Every policy they have is designed to take those people out, import people, right? Lock people up, tell them that they can't go to work, erase small businesses through the pandemic, right? All of it. But that's okay. We got something appealing for you. Food stamps, welfare. It's all right. We'll take care of you. Just give up. Stop being productive. Stop existing outside of the necessity of the government for your survival. We will have the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots will have bread and circuses. But we will not have a middle class. We will not have people with proud national identity. We won't have that.
That's how the empire falls.
You exist merely for the benefit of your leaders. That's it. If you could be a better cog in Dubai, then we're shipping you to Dubai. If you could be better in South Africa, then that's where you'll go. If you could be better than Argentina, that's where you're going to go. You have no connection to any culture. Everything is malleable. Multiculturalism for the win. There is no good culture. Everything needs to be melded together. And after all, borders are just imaginary lines anyways. So who gives a shit if your family lived for generation after generation in like the Appalachian Mountains? Who gives a fuck about that? Have fun in Argentina because there's a factory down there that you would be more beneficial in making cogs for your betters, for your leaders, the people that are really running shit. Every fucking policy is geared towards that. Every single one. Every single one.
That's what's basically that's basically the symptoms of a falling empire. We have begun to basically abandon everything that made us great in the first place for something for a dream that basically just a pipe dream. What only benefits those who are the elites. The elites basically squandered the empire that their past their granddads and great granddads have built.
But they didn't. I don't think they did squander it. How did they squander it? They're going to be more powerful than ever.
Yeah, that was be powerful, but it, like I say, it won't work out in the end because obviously things change. The geopolitical landscape will change, and the Western elites think that they're going to win. Well, they're probably going to be mistaken, given the fact that they have made their countries weak, and the
Yeah, but I don't know.
adversaries.
I think they will win. The country being weak's irrelevant once we have globalism. The Western elite just changes into being part of the elite of the global system. They don't give a fuck if all their constituents burn. What do they care? Like, oh, okay, what we were, what we claimed to be. They're not concerned about democracy. They don't give a fuck about this country, right? What they care about is power for them.
Yeah,
Them.
that's true.
They
That's
care
what I'm
about their
saying. But
golden parachute. So yeah, it's true that the quote empire that they were inherited will disappear. It doesn't matter, right? It'd be like a king, coming in charge of a country and taking all of the gold out of the coffers and be like, sweet, I'm moving to Sweden. See you fucking later. Now I'm gonna be a ruler in Sweden. Great. That's it. And
yeah,
I don't think that it'll be the situation where it's like, ooh, these dastardly leaders in the West, they'll get theirs. Maybe some of them, but what's going to happen is they're just going to be like, well, now it's a global government, and that's good. And the truth is, a huge portion, if not most, of the people in the geographic United States will say, good, this is good. We like what's happening. And so who's going to hold them accountable? Now, you could say that the monster they're created will eventually come from them, and that's partially true. The fucking Antifa types of the people eventually, but they're more powerful than that. So the only real threat to it will be Islam.
probably. I mean,
that'll be it, because they're just going to have so many kids, right? So that'll be the fight of the future. Globalists that don't
because
give a fuck
the
about
Islamic
you,
countries
and
still
want you're
have higher.
globalists that don't give a fuck about you and want your religion erased and think that you're just a fucking sheep to them, versus Islam that wants your religion erased and think you're the enemy. That'll probably be the future we have.
Yeah,
That's what my grandchildren will deal with.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Given the fact that most of the countries around the world, except for the Islamic countries and African countries, have extremely low birth rates that are basically approaching to pretty much extinction level, like in South Korea, that the birth rate that they'll be gone in the next 50 years.
Yeah.
And that same goes for China. China is also facing this problem too. That's why they're trying to go all out right now, pushing with their policies right now, because they know they're on borrowed time. Everybody is pretty much on borrowed time, and I guess we're just gonna have to prepare for what's coming next. I mean, shit. We gave Donald Trump. This was the last chance that we gave the system, and they have failed us. So now it's fair game. What's coming next? So at this point,
I feel you, Miggy. All right, man. I'll give you the last word. Then we'll have to get to the next caller, but always appreciate it, man.
well, always put it like this. There's always gonna be good and bad times, regardless to what, and just make the best of what you have. I guess don't put too much energy in the negatives and the stuff in life. Try to find a place in yourself, and not one step back.
All right, Miggy. Always appreciate it, man. You have a good one.
You too.
By the way, mic way better here recently. I see the person that was complaining about my mic. You're probably not wrong. I don't hear myself a lot, so it's hard to determine. But I am going to have Spiro call in one of these days. I'm going to have to cut back on these daytime call-in shows because I just don't have time to do other things that I need to do. So I got to cut back on these shows at some point. No. My wife's yelling at me. Well, not yelling. She's like, hey, man, you're really loud yelling. Shut your door. My bad. Sorry, wife. Who needs to hear her anyways? So yeah, I will work on that. A couple more super chats. Keep sending those super chats in. Mucho appreciated. I'm trying to practice my other languages since I'll need them. Not quite dead. $10 says, Rob, I've disagreed with you a couple times before. I think Fuentes is bad news. I agree. I respect your opinions. That's just my opinion. I just don't want our side to promote people that could be toxic. I don't disagree, but at some point you just have to be like, the complaining about the promotion is leading to more promotion, so stop complaining about the promotion. Is my point. Like, for example, there are people that I don't like in local politics. And imagine if I spent all my time complaining about those people instead of being like, hey, there's potholes, there's shit like that needs fixed. At some point, it's just like, there must be something to this guy, Rob, spending all of his time complaining about him. Tacit Tempo, $5, thanks, man, says, this is the generation that determines whether Americans stay existing. We need people active. Nearly nothing matters more than this. We're out of time. Pretty much. And here's the thing, right? They're going to shame you. They're going to say, oh, you're hyperbolic. The same people that say that Trump's a fascist, it's going to round up gay people and kill them and all this shit. They're going to call you hyperbolic, just like they called you racist when you talked about like the open border and how they wanted to give all these people a pathway to citizenship. They said, that's racist. That's called the Great Replacement Theory. That's racist. And then that's exactly what happened, and they now admit it. Chuck Schumer's like, sure, we want to give them all a pathway to citizenship. But they still call you racist for noticing. Fuck them. Who cares what they think, right? I saw someone say, well, this is a story with every generation. Because of the previous generation, we have to do extra work. Yeah, but we're not, are we? We're not doing extra work. We're kicking the can. Maybe you're not, specifically, maybe you're trying, but as a whole, that's what's happening. There ain't no extra work happening. Kick it down the road. Till eventually the bubble bursts and someone's got to pay the piper. Ain't gonna be Bernie Sanders. Ain't gonna be him. Ain't gonna be fucking Mitch McConnell. All right. Keep getting those super chats in. Day Shift crushing it today. Ulick's next. What's happening?
Howdy, man. So I remember everyone making fun of Bernie Sanders when he turned tail in 2016 and supported Hillary Clinton. Like she stole the primary from you. You idiot, you can't stand on your principles. Well, who's laughing today? It's Bernie Sanders. He towed the line. He shut his mouth. He knew what was good for him. And Republicans have done this once, and that was the RNC for 2024, for the election to get Trump in office. All of Trump's opposition in the party, they gave him the kiss of peace. They kissed the ring. They gave him their endorsements, and we got that election through because everyone decided for a moment to copy their strategy.
It's one of the things that's so impressive about the left is how much they're able to toe the line almost completely. There's slight fractures that you'll see, right? Slight fractures that you'll see from time to time. But Republicans like constantly have sort of infighting and things like that. And a lot of it makes sense. Like, I don't like Thomas Massey anymore for one reason, primarily one reason. And that's because after the death of Charlie Kirk, he did something that I find almost unforgivable. He bitched about Trump not saying both sides. Fuck him. Fuck Thomas Massey for that. I will never forget that. At that moment in time, to criticize and say, we have to say violence on both sides. Fuck you, weak man. Fuck you. Right? That's what I think about Massey. However, I understand why Thomas Massey and Rand Paul, etc., want to stick by their principles and be fiscal conservatives. Republicans are going to have to deal with that. They have to deal with it. When it's 50-50 in the Senate and you have a senator that's like, I ain't going along with big spending. Okay, now you need a Democrat to fill in that gap, right? And that sucks. I get it, right? Democrats don't have to deal with that. They can fuck over their own base and they'll go along to get along, and they're going to play a long game, right? Now, here's the thing. Mamdani wins, fine, and Bernie's laughing or whatever. I mean, from his third lake house, which is modest, I assume. But Mamdani ain't gonna fucking be president. He ain't gonna get leadership within the Democratic Party unless there's a full-on civil war, which I don't see happening yet. It's just gonna be co-opted like Bernie was, like AOC was, like the Squad was. And they're going to go along, and when all the important votes, they're going to do the same old shit. Now, maybe Mamdani will be different. If he's different, he ain't going to have much success. Eventually, that wing of the party will outpower the traditional wing of the Democratic Party. That's true. Just like MAGA has eventually won. But I don't think that time is yet. I don't think that that all of a sudden that you're getting, I still think, I'll ask you, who you think's going to be the Democratic candidate in 2028? You think it's going to be Mamdani? You think it's going to be AOC? Or you think it's going to be someone like Andy Beshear or Gavin Newsom or an outsider like Jon Stewart or something like that?
I would have said Newsom.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I get your point, right? I mean, it's still fun. I'll still make fun of Bernie for being an ass kisser and going along to get along, right? But what have they done, right? They're only in power, right? The only reason Mamdani wins is because how fucking ineffectual, like, the opposition's been. You know, Bernie, if you're like, what's Bernie's signature issue? What would you say it is? I know what I would say.
I don't even know.
I would say probably like Medicare for all. That's probably the big issue that he would talk about the most. Democrats do that? Nope. So he sold out, went fully in with the Democrats, and they never even touched. In fact, when you had people like Jimmy Dore that was out there trying to force the vote, he got laughed at and mocked by the Democrats. They couldn't even bring it to a vote. And so Bernie sold out, and for what? Nothing. It's like, oh, okay. Well, years down the road, you know, AOC, Mamdani. Okay. Let's see what happens, I guess. You know, but yeah, you know, fuck Bernie. He sold out. You know, he joined in with the establishment as soon as it benefited him, and you know, that's it.
I was gonna say their timing is much better than ours, though, because you know they always hunker down, they toe the line.
Yeah, they will, and they. I mean, listen. When your belief is that your opponents are existentially evil, right? You could toe the line. You could compromise with people that you may disagree with. You could hate billionaires and work with billionaires to stop Trump and Trump supporters because they're literally Austrian mustache men. It's all right. You could work with people that are antithetical to everything you believe because your opponents are subhuman garbage monsters. Right? Republicans don't play that game. Republicans watch people openly saying, we want your children to die, and they go, we need to condemn Nick Fuentes. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. And part of it's because they're fucking stupid, but the other part of it at the leadership levels because they're no different than the Democrats anyways. They don't really give a shit. They're about consolidating power. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's specifically why I mentioned the timing is, you know.
I mean, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. Now, granted, I'm not the best. I should have done more. But I did try to talk, particularly in Pennsylvania, about the importance of voting no on judge retention and the importance to go out and vote. What was the big put? I mean, let's throw stones at Tucker Carlson here. Did he bring on Republicans that were running in key races right before the election? No, he brought on Nick Fuentes. But did Republicans, what was their big push going in? Was it pushing Citriali? Was it pushing Winsome Sears? Was it pushing no on retention? Now it was complaining about that Tucker Carlson brought on Nick Fuentes. That's it. So fuck Nick, fuck Tucker, and fuck the people that decided they were going to hyper-focus on that instead of the election. You couldn't wait a week? This is very similar to going into the 2024 election when I was getting frustrated because I'm out there doing everything I can in my little stream. I get it. I'm by no means do I think I have a big head that I was going to flip an election or something. But my mentality is this. Before I bitch at other people and throw stones at other people, I myself should be trying to do things that I think are effectual. So in my little area of the world, my little show, I went all in. Trump all in. Were there things I didn't like about Trump? Sure. Are there things I didn't like about his campaign? Absolutely. And yet all in. Doing as many debates as I could, as many videos as I could, talking to as many people as I could, bringing on politicians, doing a 24-hour stream, doing real-life Republican events, talking to people, Republican strategists and shit behind the scenes. I was doing all that as best as I again, that's not true. I hate when people say it wasn't as best as I could, but I was trying pretty hard. Let's put it that way. And then meanwhile, a couple days before the election, people that I love, that I respect, what's the big issue they want to talk about? The week of the election? The week of the election, you ready? Repeal the 19th. Huh? We have an election in 4 days. 4 fucking days. And the issue you want to focus on 4 days before the election is telling 50% of the voting base we want to take away your right to vote. Now, let's say that repeal the 19th is a good idea. It's probably not the worst idea. Problem is, you're going to need the very people to vote for it that you're trying to strip away the right to vote, who you're blaming for all the terrible voting that they're doing anyways. But let's assume that you think it's a good idea. Fine, great. Why would that be your issue that you're focused on going into the election? You can't wait a week until after the election and then have that conversation?
No, it's time for a purity spiral.
I mean, I don't get it. I do not get it. It is as if like all game theory and strategy goes out the fucking door, right? It's just like, and by the way, when Democrats do this, we all laugh at them. When the Democrats, like one of their big sales pitch days before the election in 2024 was Tony Hinchcliffe made a joke about Puerto Ricans. You're just like, what the fuck? This is what you're focused on? You guys think that Donald Trump is Mustachio Man incarnate, and you're bitching about a stand-up comedian making a joke about Puerto Rico. See, there you have it. People defend it. It doesn't matter. Why should we talk about repealing the 19th? It's a big case 2 days before an election because the 19th is the ultimate test whether you're a common sense man or not. There you have it. I don't know what to say. There is, as much as, it's so funny to me. It's like, the people that say repeal the 19th, for example, they'll be like, you can't reach young women. You can't reach women. You can't. It doesn't matter. They're going to vote against their interests. They're going to fucking sabotage this country. And they're probably right. And yet, they are incapable of being reached themselves. You could literally show them out. You could have a time machine be out. Now listen, 2 days before the election, you're going to say repeal the 19th. If this is a strong message that's pushed, we will go from winning this election to losing it, right? And by the way, the 19th, it won't have any effect. It's not going to be repealed. It's not going to happen. And they'd be like, But here's the proof. Here, let's hop my time machine. See what happened? See? We lose. So maybe we wait 3 days. Maybe we wait 3 days to talk about repealing. It's all I'm asking. Wait 3 days to talk about repealing the 19th. So you willing to wait 3 days? No, we have to now. It's the only common sense. Okay. I don't know what to say. And you could do this. See? It's about talking about the truth. There you have it. I don't know what to say. It is literally impossible. I could sit here and be like, yeah, I think 2 days before election, pitching about Nick Fuentes isn't the proper strategy. And people go, we need to pitch about Nick Fuentes. It's like, that's fine. You want to pitch about Nick Fuentes? I think it's a bad idea when there's all these other issues that we should be focused. But we have to pitch about Nick Fuentes. Right, but it's not going to win elections. It's actually going to hurt us because it's giving more attention to Nick Fuentes. But we have to pitch about Nick Fuentes. Talking about the 19th, 2 days before an election, probably a bad idea. You're going to piss off people. It's the wrong time to talk about this. Why can't we wait 3 days and talk about it? Because it's the truth. Right, I understand you think it's the truth. Perfectly reasonable. No one's asking you not to go out and speak what you think's true. I'm just saying 2 days before election, probably bad timing at that. Yes, but it's the truth. You don't have common sense if we're not talking about it now. It literally doesn't matter. It does not matter. These are people that, and again, the irony is, like, cracking down seemed like a decent guy. Don't get me wrong there in the chat, right? Don't get me wrong. You're probably an awesome dude. Maybe I'll see you at DebateCon and we'll have a laugh. This is just a political disagreement. But the irony is you are as bullheaded and stubborn and can't be reached as much as the very women you complain about voting. Same thing. You're the exact same way. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. And I see this, and it's not just these people. This isn't just a few fringe people. It might be other issues, but this is the same shit when I go out and I deal with Republicans in real life that are Congress people, that are state-level Republicans that work for the official GOP or Trump's GOP. It's the same shit. It's like I'm talking to a fucking wall. It's unbelievable. I'll never understand it. I'll never get it. You'll say things like, you go in there, okay, what's the strategy that you guys are running to go against Josh Shapiro? He's not Jewish enough. What are you talking about? Well, our belief is he needs to stick up for Israel more. Okay, great. That's your belief. I don't think that's a winning argument for the campaign, though. Like, if you win and you want to, work more with Israel, fine, no power. But there's no polling that suggests that this is a good issue. Why are we doing it? Well, we think it's very important to say that. Right, but it's going to cost you the election if this is your hyper-focus. Yes, but it's the truth. We have to say it. Okay.
I'm tired of winning. I'm ready to lose.
I don't know what to say anymore,
Yeah, Trump was right. I'm tired of winning. It's time for some losing.
And it's frustrating when it's like, these are good people. The people I'm talking to, the Republican people, a lot of these people that I'm sitting there hanging out with all day, they're fucking good people. Some of them get it. The one congressman's looking at me with a smile like, yes, fucking ridiculous. He gets it. But like these people behind the scenes, they seem like reasonable people. And it's like, some of them are getting paid huge money. It's the same shit. And I'll guarantee the next event I'm at in a month or two, It'll be Nick Fuentes. That's what they'll be talking about. And I'll be like, yeah, I get it. Nick's not good. Got it. Very bad for our brand. Let's not focus on that. Here, let's focus on housing affordability. Let's focus on deportation. Let's focus on ending mail-in voting. Let's focus on the corruption that went against Trump. These things, let's focus on that. And they're going to be like, but listen, you know, Tucker Carlson, and I'm just going to be like, oh my fucking God. By the way, I do this for free. I don't get paid as a fucking consultant or anything. And I just don't know what to say. And again, there are people that'll be like, yeah, like that dude in the chat right there that I'm talking about, the 19th Amendment. Here. 1 second. Look what he says here. Nick Fuentes isn't the same as the 19th. He'll sit there and agree with me in the Fuentes. Absolutely. That's fucking ridiculous. 2 days before an election and the big pitches Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on, and that's stupid. That's ridiculous. Why would you think that's an effective strategy? And I'm like, yes, I'm glad you agree. Also, if we're talking about repealing the 19th 2 days before an election, that's a bad idea. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course that's what we should be talking about. And you're like, but this is literally the same argument that I was making with Nick Fuentes. In fact, this is even worse because you're literally telling half the voting electorate, if you put us in power, we're going to aggressively try to strip away your right to vote. And you're saying that 2 days before an election. And he's like, yeah, right. That's what we should be saying. Because there's nothing like, hey, we really need your vote for this election. And my final pitch is I'm going to take away your right to vote in future elections. That's my final pitch to you. But please vote for me. Now, maybe if someone asks you, you say, yeah, I guess I'm for repealing the 19th. But you're going to make this your big sales pitch. And I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's the old debate bro in me, or the person to debate that's looking at strategy and trying to like win. And I'm like, this looks like a bad strategy. It looks like this is, and I sort of looking at it more like, I hate to say this, but like a game where it's like, how do you win the game? Right? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
So imagine this.
How do you
right?
reach
So,
this? How am I going to reach this person? Well, the reason, here we go. You criticize me saying repeal the 19th 2 days before the election. His response, hip hop degrades women. They like it. I don't know what to say. I don't
well, he's
know what
making
to
he's
say.
making the argument for you, right? It's if this is all downstream from culture, we have to make them agree first.
He's not a troll. This is not a troll. There are tons of people that I argued with on this issue. Tons of them. If you were around back then, you can see how frustrated I was. I was like, holy shit, can we have this debate like next week after the election? Tons of them. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. The left doesn't have this. Well, some of the left does, but the people in the position of leadership left correctly say, fuck these people. We're not going to listen to them. But we laugh at them. Coming into an election and we're dealing with Destiny and Hassan drama. Ha! Funny. Look how distracted they are. Then we do the same thing. Instead of focusing on the issue, find the fucking issue. What's the most important issue? Bam, hyper-focus on that. There's the fucking solution. Bam. What's the second most important issue? Bam, focus on that. Simple. This is easy shit. Pennsylvania, right? What are we going to say against Josh Shapiro when we run against him as governor? What's an issue that would get people fired up about Josh Shapiro? Well, he locked you down while him and his governor that he worked for went and fucking celebrated with Black Lives Matter, a corrupt organization, as they burned down cities. That sounds pretty fucking compelling to me. And basically everyone I know that's still pissed about COVID. But nope. Instead, let's focus on how he's not Jewish enough. I feel like my friend in chat here. Let me show you. This is my friend, Zach Gilpy, who I fucking respect immensely. $10 says totally agree. Tucker and Nick distractions. Now this is someone who fucking hates Nick Fuentes, and rightfully so, right? If I told him, and I'll ask him if he's still in the chat. Hey Zach, as someone who thinks that there's an awful lot of people, particularly in the Democratic Party, that are throwing fucking too much shade at Israel, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think it would be an effective strategy as the Republicans in Pennsylvania to have their major criticism be of the Pennsylvania governor, quote, he is not Jewish enough? You think that's a good strategy? Of course he won't. He'll say, that's fucking stupid. And this is someone who supports Israel, who would probably agree that Josh Shapiro is fucking terrible on Israel. But what kind of strategy is that? I don't know. I'll give you the last word, Ulix. At this point, I'm just fucking yelling for the sake of yelling. But it's fun. I feel good. This is like fun. People go to the gym. My fat ass yells. These are the shows I like the best, by the way, where I'm fucking all fired up. So I hope the audience enjoys it.
I found a weird bug, so I was wondering if you want to see it.
Let's see it. Put it on. I'm in.
Never seen this before.
Oh, what the fuck?
Reversed here.
Is it a moth?
Yes. It has like a little tail, like a shark tail.
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie Evolution? Like where the aliens start off as like a little worm or bug or something, or slither. You watch out, man. You'll be on here tomorrow, like talking in a monotone, like, I think everyone should come to my house. Just come to my house and leave the bugs on you. It's like, huh? What?
Vote Democrat.
Vote, please.
Nick Fuentes bad.
All right. Well, Ulix, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see it. Everett, I know you're next, but I'm going to bring you on last because we'll yell together. Tassa Tempo, $5 says, repealing the 19th is only a good idea if women aren't voting for it. If it's just taken away, sure. But if you make it a decision, obviously they won't. Right. That's the problem. You have to find a way to take away the 19th Amendment without having the majority of people vote to take away their own voting rights. It's very difficult. It's just not practical. The better argument would be have a convention of the states, which is like 3/4 of the states decide to have a constitutional convention and then rewrite laws in that way. That would actually be a more effective way to do it. But to just be like, well, we're just going to have a vote to repeal the 19th ain't happening. Scavenge, $5 says, there are covert feminists in the right, and these people may not be covert leftists, but you're sure acting like someone trying to undermine the right. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it's not people that are like trying to sabotage. They just legitimately disagree with me on the strategy. Look, there's certainly a case to be made that you want to police your own and you want to make sure that fucking they're not becoming the central voice on your side. And I get that. Nick Fuentes is the central voice for the right would be a disaster. It would. I get it. And so you want to police that. But there comes a point where it's like the more oxygen you're giving him, the more influence he gets, and the more it allows the average person to go, oh, this is what the right is. And at some point, you just got to be like, yeah, I understand sort of what he's saying a little, but yeah, anyways, back to the issue. Chicken Pork Adobo says, morning, Roberto. Thank you. And Bandit, $2 says, I've seen this movie. The black guy dies first. They took it. Oh, no. My wife's lesbian car has been taken. All right. I think we can get to $500 today. We're almost there. 101. We could do it. Let's go with Hello. What's up, Hello?
Hi. Yeah, what I was going to reference to is repealing the 19th.
Okay.
I keep telling people that's not the answer because you're not going to get women to vote that.
Correct. That's true.
You're just not. It's not going to happen. Your best bet is trying to strategize and try to, I guess what you say, appeal to women.
Yeah.
And what matters to women most, I know a lot of people's going to say the abortion issue, which I'm totally against. Do not get me wrong. But I think that food security, housing security, schools and stuff for their kids and everything, there's certain things that you could, zone in on that would probably appeal to women more. And then if the 19th Amendment issue, becomes something that can be done, you might get them to vote for it because they're happy. But they're not going to vote for anything right now. especially that. And when I think if we're trying to win elections, that's the last thing you need to throw up, because
So
you're not going to win nothing saying that.
young women voted for about 60% for Kamala and roughly 40 for Trump. So it's not as dire as people were saying, though that is a huge margin. It really is.
It is.
Considering that they're 50% of the electorate, that means that men have to vote in that same scenario more than 20% in favor of Trump versus Kamala. So it's certainly an issue. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Women are not at this point going to vote to repeal the 19th. Maybe
No.
that's a pie in the sky dream that 50 years down the road, once culture has shifted, that women would be willing to take that. So then you have options. It's like, okay, can you force this in some way? Well, the answer to that's going to be a resounding no for two reasons. One, how
Absolutely not.
you're not going to be able, how could you force it without some sort of vote where there's not going to be willpower, because largely women would vote for things that the people that would be forcing it would be negatively affected. And the other reason is because there's an awful lot of men that would refuse to accept it as well. So you're talking the repeal of the 19th. My guess is the popularity of that position would probably be the idea of telling women specifically they can't vote. My guess is maybe 10% of people would be on board with that. Now, that's fine. Your options at this point, though, if that's true, hell, let's be generous and say 20%, which is ridiculously high. But let's say 20% of people would favor repealing the 19th. Okay. Well, there's no sort of legislative way that you're going to achieve that with only 20%. So now your chance is force. You're gonna use some sort of force to do this. Well, the problem here is, right, you might as well just skip the whole repeal the 19th thing and just use force fucking in the culture war anyways. At that point, why even fucking bother with the like, at that point, once you're like, well, we're just going to use force, what's the fucking amendment matter in the first place? Fuck it. It's on now, motherfucker. Right? So what's the difference?
But here's the thing, though, Rob. Don't you think what got us in this position in the first place was that you had the man out in the field with the plow working the other man's fields and stuff, and he had no say? You had women, their husbands would run off and leave them, or maybe get killed in a war or something like that, and they were on their own, had nothing or nobody speaking for them. So then you had what we call good men that saw this and wanted to help. So they put in, and I know they want to say women fought and got their right to vote, but let's just face it, men had to give it to them. Men had to.
Yep.
And so you had good men that said, okay, no, we want these people to have a voice too. So you're right back going to put yourself back into a position where they see somebody getting trodden down, then you're going to have good men coming up, oh, this is wrong, and you're going to go right back. It's going to be a cycle. Your best bet is to strategize and try to reach certain people. And that's just
So
it.
I'm just looking at polling. Gallup's done polls, not necessarily about this question specifically, but it's talked about like gender equality with voting rights and shit like that. And basically the estimate is less than 1 to 2% of adults would support repealing the 19th. If we just look at men 18 to 29, it's roughly about 5%. Women overall, surprise, surprise, less than 1%.
Yeah,
Democrats and
whenever I
liberals, 0%. Republicans in general, 2 to 5%. So that means we're talking 1 to 2% of people overall. And if your argument is, but those 1 to 2% will rise up through force to repeal the 19th, then why not just, why does the Constitution matter at that point? Why is the amendment process? If that 1 to 2% could do that through force, they might as well do everything else they want. Right? It's just not going to happen.
Well,
the answer to this,
certain circles, though, Rob, and everything, like church circles, stuff like that, and everything. It's a resounding. Even the men don't even want it.
Right.
You know
That's
what
I'm saying.
They're
when you're
saying
talking
no.
about an issue, like maybe if you had 0% of women that wanted it and 100% of men, okay, now you have an argument. But you don't.
Right.
You have 2% of men and 0% of women. Right. And so it's like you not only have to overcome every woman, okay, but we could do it through force. Great. Okay, let's say that was hypothetically true. You're also only 2% of men going up against 98% of men. right?
Yeah.
And so it's not worth talking about. The answer to this is not a short-term answer, but it is worth saying. Here's
Well,
what you do.
what do
You
you
have to
suggest?
win the culture war. That's what you have to do. You have to do things to show that life would be better for women under the cultural systems that you want. The
That's what I
traditional
said.
gender roles were good. You need to provide for their security. You need to provide for their children. You need to give them a better way of life other than just banging a bunch of people and saying reproductive rights are the most important thing. You need to show them that the true happy way is to have an economy, to have options, to have home ownership, to have these things that are possible,
Exactly.
and that having a family is the premier way to live. And that these traditional gender roles are better in general. Doesn't mean that there can't be exceptions for certain women, but these things would be more important than what the Democratic Party is offering you. And again, this is a 60-40 issue, not a 100% of women, young
Right.
women, in fact, are Democrat. It's 60% roughly. And so the more you achieve that, the more you're going to pick off more percentages of those women,
Because
is what you're going to
that
do.
20%,
Just screaming repeal
although
the
is a
19th
large
is not an
margin,
answer. Yeah.
although that
That's
20% is a large margin, it's still workable,
correct.
and you
That's
could.
so that's what, so it frustrates me to have the repeal the 19th conversation anyways. But my point, the only reason I brought it up here today was we were talking about it 3 to 4 days before a national election,
Well,
which
yeah,
is even dumber, which is like imagine that you're a woman on the fence. Like, and you're like,
you
I
might
don't
as well
know,
hand it
the
over to the
Democrats,
person
and
you're
then you got
against.
these guys going, hey, over here, over here. Hey, do you hear us? Yeah, I think I'm voting for Trump, but I'm really on the fence. What's your final sales pitch? We want to take away your right to vote.
Yeah, that's done.
Okay, I guess I'll go with the other guy.
You're right.
Or lady in
And
this
then
case.
I got accused of being a leftist in your chat the other day because me and one were going back and forth. It was a friendly, but anyway, um, it, because I realized this is just, it's not workable. It's,
Right. Well, hey,
it's not
hello.
feasible.
I totally agree. I gotta go. I got like 4 other callers on the line, but I do really appreciate it. Hello, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Keep sending in super chats. Clandestine scientist, $2 says on bug topic. Look up manted fly wasp. It's really creepy. Oh shit. Kurt, what's happening, my friend? I see you there.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Oh, yelling at people, doing what I do.
Hell yeah.
What are you up to?
I like doing that too. That's my favorite thing. Well, just doing some welding and stuff like that, man. Living the dream.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking, man, do you think like that all this funding, that we cut off, that small little percentage kind of like the first domino, now everything's fucking falling apart?
The funding?
Yeah, all the what is it, the USAID and all that shit, like all the the shell game. You think that's sort of like the first domino?
No, I don't think that restricting some funding at USAID led to led to the housing crisis and stuff, or you said led to like a domino effect?
No.
Like
no,
a domino.
it's gonna lead to like the domino effect of like this is we're done with this shit. You know what I mean? We can't live together anymore. I think like that. What I mean?
I see what you're saying. Okay. No, I don't think it was the USAID. I think it was just the election of Trump. It wouldn't matter what he did, right? That they were the left was going to up their rhetoric and be like, fuck you, we'll do everything possible to take you out. I don't think Doge was the catalyst. I think, if anything, if you had to pick one issue that Trump was doing that would be more of the catalyst, it would be just speaking about potential deportations. That, to me, is far more anger for the base of Trump that allows the Democrats to be like, we want to kill Trump supporters. We want their children to die and them to celebrate it. But it wouldn't even matter if Trump would have did a total 180 and been like, hey, you know what? We're going to give amnesty. They'd still feel the same way. The fact that Trump won in 2016 started the ball rolling in a massive way, and the fact that we elected him again after 2024, where the left thought that they had successfully painted him as a serial sexual assaulter, a felon, and basically the mustachioed German man, the fact that he was elected, they were like, that's it, the fucking gloves are off. We now will do anything that we want to you people. We'll celebrate your murder. It was already bad before then, but yeah, I think that was the real catalyst.
Yeah. No, I think you might be right about there. You know what I mean? I just think
they certainly weren't happy about. They
Yeah.
weren't happy about the lack of funding and shit like that, and they're going to point to it as more of an example. But I don't think that was necessarily the catalyst.
I don't know, man. I just think maybe this is how like a bunch of ancient cities fell. You know what I mean? They're like everybody just left. Everybody was here, and then they weren't here anymore. Maybe just letting your women become just like men is just It's a one-way ticket to doom. We can't be the first people that did this. You know what I mean? We can't be the first people.
Yep, I totally agree. Wait, man, I got to get ready. I got other callers on, and I got like something I got to say before I end the show here. But Kurt, it's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man, you take it easy, bud.
All right, take it easy, Kurt. What's up, Mister Ptarmigan? What's happening?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine. What's happening?
Hey, Rob. I'm a slightly older guy. I'm a little new to this whole debate crowd. My journey was I saw Wilson on Piers, and I said, "Holy crap! I gotta listen to more of this guy," and that led me to the Crucible, and then I saw you on some debate, and what really impressed me was you got some guy. I think his name was Fatty. You kind of straightened him out, and I said, "Oh man, I gotta start listening to this guy."
Oh, thank
now."
you. Yeah, I remember talking to Fatty. Yeah, it was fun.
So anyway, my point is, and it's a little meta, so I just want to lighten things up a little bit.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like both sides kind of go up to Gozer and kind of think of the monster of their own destruction.
Mm-hmm.
In that with the left, it was Trump. Okay, they had Trump living free in their heads forever, and they even gave Trump his own hero's journey. Right? They had all this crap that they threw on him, and he defeated one after the other, got stronger, became more of a hero. Now he's this monster to them, right? Which I argue that if they would have just let him be just another like George W. Bush.
I agree. He would have been. He would have been more like a Bill Clinton, to be honest.
Or some sort of Bill Clinton. He would have just came and left, and there would have been no excitement over him, and they could have moved on instead of this rabid disarray that they have in their minds. And the reason why I'm saying this is I feel like we're almost kind of choosing our own monster, our own. We kind of walked up to Gozer, and what appeared in our heads was this guy Fuentes. And I feel like he had some trials and tribulations. Or I really don't know too much about him. I'm also learning a little bit more about him, but we're kind of building him up. And you're right. I think we should just move past him and don't breathe his name again.
That's my feeling. It's not even that you can't, like, it's not like Harry Potter, like he should not be named or anything like that. It's just like, exactly. I don't understand the hyper focus. Like, hey, like again, we did this whole stream. I agree. I understand people come in late in this. Look, what do you think about Nick Fuentes? It'll never end. It'll never end. Exactly. The people that want him discredited the most will continue to be the people that help credit him the most. They will constantly, they can't help themselves. They cannot help them. It does not matter. It doesn't matter how many times I say it. And it's not just with him. This happens all over the place. I might say something like this. Hey, I had some drama with another channel, sort of done talking about it. Part of it's that I don't want to give it oxygen, the situation, those people. And so the response will be from my audience. Did you hear what this guy, did you hear about this video he put out about you? Did you hear about him? What do you say about this? How about this guy? Yeah. Or would you debate this guy? And I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Like, part of the strategy is to ignore those fucking people. That's part of it. Right. And then it goes away. Right. And if the strategy of Nick's to keep screaming that he's the boogeyman while your opponents are electing people that say they want your children to die, then we've lost. I don't know what to say. I get tired of answering the question. I don't like when Nick says Stalin's a good man. Now what? Now. Okay. Now where do we go from here? I said it. I said that now. Did I virtue signal enough for you? Yeah. Is that enough? Cool? We cool now? And now what? Now, what's the point? I don't know that he said that Stalin's a good guy. He probably has. Okay, now what? I don't know. I don't know what these people want. Like, yeah, now say it again. Then after that, you know what you need to do? Say it again, baby.
Preoccupy
And by the way,
ourselves
after you
forever,
say it
right?
like 5,000 times on the channel, maybe you could focus on like, people can't afford housing, but then say it again, baby. Okay. I don't know what to say. I'll let you go, but I think you're making a very good point. It's just the hyper focus is a disaster. It's a disaster for the very people that would like the focus to be taken off Nick Fuentes to continue to say, let's take away the focus from that guy. It's like, yeah, but you keep talking about it. That's kind of putting the focus. But what we need to do is really take away the focus. Okay.
Good job, Rob.
All
care.
right. Hey, we'll take it easy. We'll talk soon.
Mhm.
Thanks so much for calling in.
Yep.
Premonition, I got just a couple minutes. What's happening today?
I won't take up much of your time. Firstly, I must hello to the Robbie the Robot guy that was just on.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Man after my own heart. Anyway, this is you may not like what I'm going to say. I am 100% that they should repeal the 19th Amendment. I'm sorry. I know it can't be done. It must be done, but it can't be. Feminism destroyed the world. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, saying something should have, like, for example, I could say this. I could say that people should stop stealing. And I could make the case why it would be a better world if everyone stopped stealing. And yes, it's okay to talk about in the abstract, should something happen. And there's utility in talking about that. Because once we say, well, this would be the ideal situation, it allows you to take practical steps that would get you closer to that ideal situation. But there is no practical way in which the 19th gets repealed. And counterintuitively, the more people praise and announce repealing the 19th, what you need to have happen, the reason you want to repeal the 19th is because our politics are going in a negative way that we don't like, because women are voting in a negative way we don't like. And the more you talk about repealing the 19th, counterintuitively, what happens is it makes women more likely to vote stronger in ways that you don't like.
Exactly.
And so it's like, so here is, I can't even think of an analogy that helps describe it better than the current system. And so the more you talk about it, the less women will be on your side, the more the bad outcomes, which results in people saying, now we need to talk about it more, which results in more bad outcomes, which results in people. So it's just this circular until 99% of women are now voting for the Democrat position and socialism and all this stuff. And then people are like, see, we really told you this is why to repeal the 19th. It's like, right. Or we could have took the other strategy. And the other strategy was, as I said, we make incremental changes through culture and we benefit things like the economy, because the truth of the matter is, even young women, which would be the demographic most likely to be the ones that people were upset about, they also like money. They do. They like when the economy's good. And so if one side's offering an economic vision that's fucking awesome and the other side's offering a disaster, the side that's offering the economic vision, even if there are other things that aren't liked, is going to attract people, including young women. It's going to attract more of them. So I say focus on that. Focus on winning culture. Focus on promoting Christianity. Focus on promoting family. Those are the sorts of things we should be doing. Sadly, so many people say, nope, we need to focus on telling women to shut the fuck up and they shouldn't vote. And repeal the 19th, it's,
There's one thing that could work if they could even do it, which they can't, because we can't do anything. They would have to submit to sign up for the draft along with the men if they want to vote. And very few would want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there are things you can do. You could provide incentives or detriments. You could say you have to sign up for the draft. You could say, here's benefits we could give you if we take away the right to vote. But it's still never. It wouldn't even broach. With every carrot and stick you could imagine that theoretically you could sneak through the legislative process for every, like, you're talking if you did every possible thing, you'd sign women up for the draft and this, that, and the other.
They'd still fight it.
Well, not only would they fight it, you'd still have over 90% of men fight it.
Yeah.
And so then it's.
I know. I just, being my age and knowing all of the colossal mistakes that I have made in my life because of I've been alone for 1 million years and not because I wanted to be, but that's how it worked out in my life. But being alone, I would take away the vote from me because I am not a man. I think emotionally. I have fear. I don't reason through things, but I'm old enough to admit it.
Right.
And you know what I mean? My son, who's your age, is logical. He always makes good decisions, and I would happily hand my vote over to him.
I hear you. I get it. And like, that's what
Yeah.
you could do as a woman. You could say, you know, like, for example, I know a lot of people that are like, I'm a Christian household. My wife has agreed that I will make the decisions and I will vote. And that's great. Talking about repealing the 19th, it's so difficult to talk about. Like, it's sort of, I can't believe I've been referencing this movie so much lately, but it's like the movie War Games. The only way to win is to not play at all. The only way to win these conversations about the 19th Amendment is to not talk about the 19th Amendment being repealed. And so every time we talk about, well, the 19th Amendment, what happens is everyone's like, oh, that's what I want to talk about, repeal the 19th, which leads to a circuit. Yeah.
No,
so
you're right.
it's a weird thing, but I feel you. I feel you. I know what you're talking about.
You're right. Well, you have a wonderful day. Love to the
Thank you.
family. And we'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you again.
Always appreciate it. By the way, do you have Discord or X?
I don't know how to use Discord. I've been trying to figure it out. And yes, I do have X.
Direct message me on X so that I have
Okay.
your account. So, all right, you take it easy.
Bye, dear.
All right.
Have a
We'll see
great
you.
day.
Yep, you too. A couple more super chats. Landed man wearing $5 says, agreed, Rob. Find a good woman and have some babies. My wife went from a Hillary voter to being okay with the idea of just me voting for the household. Yeah. That's a tempo. $2 says, hey, Rob, what do you think about Nick Fuentes? Is Nick bad? Now listen, we're close. We're $92 away from 500. I know we could do it today. I know it. Look, say what you want. All this talk about repealing the 19th and Nick Fuentes. I've had fun. How about you? I've actually had fun. I like getting fired up and yelling at my own supporters. And I hope you guys like yelling at me. So no hard feelings to anyone out there, for real. I actually enjoy these shows. It's shit to talk about. Shows that are boring is when everyone agrees, right? This is good shit. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I have no hard feelings to anyone that's disagreed with me or anything like that. And who knows? Maybe I'm not right. I'm not perfect. Just near it. Last up, we have our good friend Avarice. Ah, Avarice, what's happening?
Hey!
What do you think about Nick Fuentes in the 19th Amendment? No,
well, actually, I was calling in to see if you had a minute to talk about our great amendment of the 19th.
Oh, the 19th Amendment.
Yeah,
I think Nick Fuentes likes it, you know.
Oh,
that's it's now I will say this to the 19th Amendment people. This is a good lesson, right? Oftentimes you can vote yourself into trouble, but you can't vote yourself out, right? And so it's like, this is why you should always be careful before you're giving the government more power or, big broad changes like that, because oftentimes the consequences bite you in the ass and it's too late to do anything about it. So,
I mean, I get your concept is just like, it's like, okay, the idea is just there's nothing you can do about it. So time to figure out new solutions about how to move forward. Maybe we think about things that limit power in a 28th Amendment or something. But
the problems you're going to need, 3/4 of the votes and whatever. I mean, here's the thing, I can't even say this.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk in private, right? I'm just going to say this is hypothetical. This is going to be clipped to shit. I know it, but let's say you have an idea. Let's say that you have an idea. And this idea you think is a good idea, but if you announce this idea that it's going to turn off an awful lot of people that you would need to support for this idea to get passed. Don't talk about it in public. I can't believe I have to say it. I'm not telling you to lie, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, why is this something
we got that
you
clipped? Don't worry.
Yes,
I got
don't worry, it will be. Every lefty's going to be like, see, Rob's really for authoritarianism. He's just smart enough to not say it in public. That's what's coming.
All of a sudden, he calls Avarice at the back end, and they talk about fascism and the global takeover.
The best example of this is it's after January 6th, right? It was a small amount of people, but I legitimately am against the political violence. Legitimately, not just the TOS thing. I'm against it strategically. I'm against it morally. That's who I am. Believe it or not, I don't give a shit. But anyways, you get these anonymous people, right? January 8th would be calling in. It's like, now's the time. Pick up arms. Go after senators. You need to say this, Rob. Stop being a coward. Me, whose public face is out here right now, needs to talk about physically assaulting U.S. senators. That's your argument, Mr. Anonymous Online guy, that I should publicly say this shit. And they don't get it. It's like, first off, fuck you, you're wrong. Second off, if this is your plan, announcing it on public boards is a real fucking stupid plan. You idiot. Like, that's how you know that it's either the dumbest person ever, so you should just dispense, or they're Fed posting.
God,
Like, one or the other.
This is great advice. So don't post how my next bank heist online.
Right.
Got it.
You're a coward if you're not robbing banks. I'm going to rob this specific bank. Admit that you're going to do it, Rob. Admit that you're coming with me. It's like, huh? What the fuck are you doing? But it's also true of less, like, ridiculous shit, right? Like, if you're, sometimes being too honest is a bad thing. Like, when Ron Paul, who I like's like, look, we're going to shrink the size of government. And he's honest. Hey, listen, man, it's going to be short-term pain.
Yeah, I think that there's,
he could have skipped over that part of it,
yeah, I think there's also a time where, like, you can make a point without having to go to, like, other people's points, right? You can be, like, in your value set, talk honest to you, right? And you don't have to care about over there, right?
Well, like the video I did that the left's really shitting on me is the one where I admitted that I was a hypocrite. And basically, other than the cancel culture shit, what I was saying was I spent an entire video complaining about the FEC head talking about Jimmy Kimmel. Meanwhile, the left is fucking openly celebrating the murder of us. And so I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of having to, like, be by my principles every single time and say everything, right? Like, any little thing that Trump does bad or Republicans do bad, I have to come on the show and be like, oh, here's why I'm against it. And I do it. I still do it. And I'm tired. I don't owe that to the left. Fuck them. There's a much bigger issue right now. You're right. I don't like everything Trump did. But I apologize that I'm focused on these little minor issues because I think that's what makes me a good person when my opponents are like, kill, 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 kill. Get them. Get those motherfuckers. We don't care what our side does. We don't give a fuck. We don't care at all, right? And so I'm tired of ignoring that to self-criticize. And maybe that's where my frustration comes in, where people are in here and they're like, but Nick Fuentes, aren't you going to complain about Nick Fuentes? Don't you have anything negative to say about Nick Fuentes?
And I think, if you look at it too, and from your side, I mean, this is a stupid way to look at it, but it's not your job whether to praise or shit on Nick Fuentes, just like, or else we'd be just another Sarah talking about you all day, right? We're not here to talk about that, right?
And it's one thing when it's little dicky people like me and Sarah and like that. It's another thing when it's fucking Ted Cruz and Mike Pence. Like, these people have actual, honest to goodness political power, and that's where they're at. Or Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is fucking going on? And again, it's not as if it's like, today you could take it. Today, if the big national conversation after the 2025 election was, look, Tucker, Nick Fuentes, okay, maybe. But you're talking about it 2 to 3 days before an election. Now, did this make, no, I don't think that the results would have been different if they weren't. But it just goes to show you the loser mentality and the lack of fucking strategy that these people have.
I mean, I think that there was no real information out there that the voting was going on too. Cause I mean, it is everybody was defeated. I think you're right in that mentality. There was a defeat. New York was already lost to Mondani before it even started. So, yeah.
Well, I will let you go. I don't know if you're around tonight, but it's me and Spiro's $1,000 fundraising effort to get to Nashville.
Oh, yeah, of course. If you want me on stream, I'll always be here for you. Of course. So
the problem is, like, I just can't insult Spiro like you. I'm just not good enough. So we'll need someone. We'll need someone to
listen. It's because you've been through them, so you can't like, you feel bad for someone that has still in that such a poor position as Spiro.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
poor Spiro
that has to grift his way to the debate con. While I'm happily living in my mansion there.
That's right.
Temporarily.
That's why you have the green screen, so people can't see the opulent, like, pillars behind you, fountains of gold just spraying water.
Well, they get mad because I got my wainscoting the other day and I got gold leaflets on it.
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah. That like you wanted the gazebo. I was like, well, I got a 1-up Rob, and now I got to get gold leaflet on the wainscoting.
Ah, shit. All right, Avarice. We'll see you tonight then, man. Take it
later.
easy. All right. Thank you, everyone. Listen, from the bottom of my heart, I truly mean this. I hope you understand that disagreements aren't something necessarily to be super pissy about. I insult anyone's fucking family or anything like that. They didn't insult mine. It's all fucking good. Every single person. Capone, let's tell me to, stop. Yeah, I understand you're arguing with my moderator or whatever, but I don't have a problem with any of you. Capone, not quite dead. The guy that was talking about the 19th Amendment. You guys are all fucking good in my book, so no problems here. I hope you feel the same way. I thoroughly thank all of you. I thank my mods who are excellent. I thank my editor, Black Elk. Thank you so much. All of the callers are great. Everyone that super chatted, including people like Not Quite Dead, that were really game to go back and forth with me. I really appreciate that. I think it makes for a better show. And so I hope you appreciated it, and I hope that the audience did as well. I need to click someone to raid. Now, here's the deal, Day Shift. You guys fucking crushed it. You crushed it. But if you really want to put the cherry on top, someone's going to donate like $100 to get us over that $500 amount. We could do this. We could do it. We are capable. Someone could do it. I know that you can. Take us over the edge. We're going to raid Jim Bob. Someone's going to wait. I know what's going to happen. This is how some base chat out there has got $100 they're ready to send in, but they're going to wait until the outro video plays because they're based. I'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to do a special, as always, every Thursday. We're doing the show with Spiro. All of the money that comes in tonight is going to be to get Spiro and I to Nashville. So all money that comes in, and it's going to be a substantial cost. By the time we're talking about tickets, we're talking about airfare, we're talking about Airbnb, all of this stuff. So it's going to be a substantial expense. You guys are always incredibly generous. We're going to do our best. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about serious issues. Oh, shit, look at this. Houdini gives that $100. Says, hey, Rob. What an unbelievable legend. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Genuine badass. I gotta go. I gotta pick up my son. Now I know someone's gonna drop 200, and that'll get us to the 200%. There we go. On the outro, someone will drop 200 to get us to 200%. Thanks so much. You guys are the best. Gotta run. Enjoy the raid at Jim Bob. Thank you so much, Houdini, for that at the end. You're awesome. What an awesome dude. I know someone else is gonna send 200 though, right at the outro. God bless you all. God bless Charlie Kirk, and God bless his family. We'll see you all.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.